everyone. I'm just looking at the corner at Bintle, the dog. I'm trying to socialize him a little bit. He's scared of noise and everything, you know. So what I do is I put him in the garden, and we've got a child gate at the back door. So he's been out there for half an hour. There is shade out there, so if he's hot, he can go into the shade. But he just looks totally, totally exhausted. He's in an air-conditioned environment now. I'm guessing he'll be asleep in about 10 minutes, won't you? Great little fella he is. Right, okay. How are we doing? Saturday afternoon stream, very casual today. I've just had lunch with my friend Simon. He's down from Bangkok. And we were just talking about, it's getting very, very quiet now. A lot of it's to do with the Middle East, what's going on there. There's not so many people coming out on flights. And, you know, a lot of the bars and stuff seem to be empty. But obviously living here, and you're here all the time, you notice it. It's not dead, but... You know, it's I can notice a difference. He's heading back to Bangkok now. I've just had a really greasy, full English breakfast. Very rare. I haven't had one for about a month, but it was okay. I had it at a place called Pat's on Soy 94. I don't know if you come down here if you know it. It's okay. Right, first in, Uncle Willie B. It ain't midnight at the Oasis. I remember that song, but it is in Sacramento, California. How you doing? Ryan, how you doing? And the dog, yeah. He's laying down now. He's going to be out in about 2 minutes. Jesse, how you doing? Nice to see you in the stream. 808, how you doing? Anders, nice to see you in. Rob Hardy, is it? I can't believe I'm... What are you? What can't you believe? Guys, can you hear me okay? Because my microphone's up here because I don't like it to be in the shot. You know, a lot of YouTubers, you'll see, they have a table mic and it sits in front of them. I don't like that. So if I pull it forward... You can see I've got a nice rolled mic there. Too much cable. But I don't like it being in shot. So what I tend to do is just push it back so it's out of the camera view like that. Somebody told me if you do this and the end of your finger touches the mic, that's okay. If it's more than that, it's not okay. Dog, how you doing? Robert Hardy on the stream. Okay. Got that out in the end. I'll tell you what. We've had a couple of good downpours here now, and you know what? It's such a relief. When you're out and it rains, it's kind of a nuisance. But when you're at home, it's been so hot the last month. What we're now April and May has been so hot. I mean, literally makes me tired. You know, aircon running and everything. And we had a couple of very hard downpours, and it just took the heat completely out. You still get the humidity, but it took most of the heat out of the air. And yeah, it was great. Fantastic. Hoping it rains today, actually. There's not too much sun out, as I can see. Sideway, how you doing? Anders Bergman, how are you? Bijan, is it? Bijan Peterson, how you doing? Richard. Is it Richard? No, it's not Richard. It is Richard. Morning, Peter. Hi, all. Congrats on getting your yellow book. Just the pink tie card to go, and you're all set. Well worth it. Yeah, he's talking about the Tapian ban. I've got the yellow book that says I live in this house, basically, and I don't have to worry about residence certificates anymore. Because whenever you get a lease or you buy a motorbike or anything like that, you have to have a residence certificate. They always want a residence certificate as proof of where you live. And you know, you have to go to immigration and pick one up every time you want to do something. And you have to give the original. You can't give, it's not like you can get it once, photocopy it and keep using it. You have to give it, like when I bought my Honda, I had to give my residence certificate to the Honda shop. Then when I leased the apartment, I have to do another one and so on. So the yellow book, there's no more of that. I could have actually picked up my Thai ID card yesterday, but I wanted to get the stories finished. I hadn't finished the stories. And, there was a bit of a queue there, but all I would have had to do is fill in a form, have my photograph taken with the lines at the back, and I would have it now. I'm going on Tuesday. I'll get it on Tuesday. It should be a bit quieter on Tuesday, and I don't have a lot on. Who else we got? I'm feeling a bit tired today, to be honest with you. Glenn, morning, Peter. I hope you and your missus are well, mate. I cannot watch the live today, but I'll catch up later. Have a good one. Okay, Glenn, thanks very much. Martin, I'm going for the last papers for Yellow Book next week in Bangkok. I'll tell you what makes me laugh, Martin. The number of people, that video was, I put it up on Facebook about getting the yellow Tapian ban. And a lot of people, not a lot, a few people were leaving ridiculous comments. Like one guy says, because I was explaining in the video, the process is so much paperwork. It's unbelievable. You know, I had to send my passport up to the British Embassy. It has to get notarized. They send back a certificate to say, yep, it's a real genuine passport. Then it has to go to Blueport to get notarized, translations. I had to have 2 Thai witnesses, a mountain of paperwork. And then you can't just walk into the airport. You have to make an appointment. It's like 2 months in advance. And I finally got over there. And then they said, well, give us a ring in a week. We'll ring you in a week or 2 and you can pick up the book. And I picked it up yesterday. The number of guys who, I mean, Facebook's notorious for like bad comments and stupid comments. But the number of people who left comments saying, oh, I got mine in a day where I live. Or no, it wasn't that much work. My missus got it for me. And, you know, one guy even wrote, I got an actual Thai ID, which is impossible. He hasn't got a Thai ID. He said, I had to pay 130,000 baht backhander for it. Oh, absolute rubbish, you know. You know, you get these people on Facebook, don't you? Richard, thank you. Everybody telling me sounds okay. Ryan, good. Everybody, thank you. All right. Jesse, hotels in the islands are pretty expensive right now for December 3. December 3-star hotels going for like 140 a night. That's US dollars, I guess. Not too good. Yes, can hear you just fine. So the thing is, December, you got to remember it's high season, isn't it? And a lot of people, not only is it high season, but a lot of people come out here for the Christmas period. You know, they don't want to stay in their own countries. And, you know, so it is a, you know, it's going to be an expensive time of the year. If you were to come out in August, for instance, during the rainy season, it would probably be half of that. Okay. Robert, how are you doing? Greetings, Peter. Love from Hatyai in South. Oh, I love the backdrop. Did you hear about the new 30-day law? Yes, I have. If visitors cause problems now, they kick them out in 30 days. Okay, so I'll just clarify that point. So what Robert's talking about there is they're bringing out a law, or they've brought out a law because they're just getting fed up of foreigners behaving badly. The first thing they've already said they're going to do, I don't know when they're doing it, but they definitely, it's on the books now. It's not if, it's when. They're cutting back the 60-day tourist stamp to 30 days. That's a done and dusted deal. There's no discussion on that. That's going to be done. But the other one they're bringing out, they're saying now for these foreigners who come out here, if they get, I think it's 30 days. I was watching Thai Legal Integrity, and he was saying that if they get, I think it's something like sentenced to more than 30 days, then they're blacklisted for good. They kick them out of the country. I think it's a good thing because guys who come here and they don't cause any problems, like myself, I'm just retired out here. I'm living my life. I put money into the economy. I'm not causing problems. Guys like me are okay. It's the guys who are swinging on the back of BART buses and falling off and having fights with ladyboys and running out of restaurants without paying, you know. Dennis over there on Facebook. It looks so hard to live in Thailand. It's not difficult, Dennis. You've got to make sure your finances are there. You can't come out. I mean, people make videos saying Thailand's so cheap, you can live on next to nothing. You can't. Thailand, certain aspects of Thailand are cheap. Of course they are. If you want to live like a Thai local, you can live on 25,000 baht a month. But I mean, that's not really living, is it? It's existing. You know, if you come out here, you want to occasionally go out for a pizza or a pint of beer and, you know, some of your own home food. You want to live in a nice apartment. A nice apartment's going to cost you, you know, and the visa is relatively easy to do. You know, you maybe use an agent the first time. I do my own visa now. I went to immigration here in Hua Hin, got my last, my retirement visa. Cost me 1,900 baht, ever so nice out here. And it's not really difficult. It's just learning how to do everything here, you know. The biggest mistake people make is actually not coming out here with enough savings. Jesse, man, I was just sleeping on my couch. Thankfully, woke up in time for the stream. Okay, you're working hard, aren't you? Robert, Pete, you've lost weight on your face. Wow, was that the injections? I don't know, Robert. I mean, I am still taking the injections. I didn't take them for about 4 months, and I went straight back onto 5 milligrams, and I was sick as a dog the following day. I was vomiting, literally vomiting. I had to stop the motorbike on 102. Luckily, I found a field, and it was like, you know, I mean, I was vomiting so much that the next day my ribs actually hurt. I couldn't laugh, you know. And my girlfriend was trying to make me laugh because she knew that my ribs hurt. What a sadist. I don't know. I haven't weighed myself. Who's giving me that now? Perbert, thank you very much, mate. Great. Great early release videos on loneliness. Okay. I've released a video today just to members only. Everybody else will see it on Tuesday. It's called 20 Things That Could Make You Lonely in Thailand. And just on this retirement thing again, thanks for the $10, by the way. Just for the, you know, anybody who's thinking about coming out here and you've been out here on a holiday and it's exciting and you're in the bars and You do whatever you're doing. It's fun. You can get very lonely out here, okay? I'm not lonely. Honestly, I'm not. I've got enough to keep me occupied. And I know people. I've got friends here. But I know guys who come out here. They've only ever come out here. Now, look, see that? Look, I've been picking a scab on my leg and it's gone bloody. Let's just get rid of the blood there. Vampire. I shouldn't do that. Bad habit, picking scabs. I'll tell you what that is. When I play with Binto, he's got ever so sharp claws. And I do cut them myself. Oh, look at that. He's got sharp claws. And what happens, I'm wearing shorts. And when he's playing, sometimes his claws catch me. And I've got scratch marks all over me. And there was a bit of a scab on that one. I just, I can't help it. I'm talking to the camera and just like picking away. Not really, but just picking away. And it's started leaking. Silly boy. I won't do that again. Right. What are we talking about? Yeah. So you can get lonely out here. Robert, you were talking about you thought I'd lost weight, right? You know what? I don't know. I don't weigh myself now because sometimes I'm very weak. I love my food and I love having a few beers at 6 o'clock. And I gave it up for a while. And I thought, you know what? I'm retired. I'm 66. I want to enjoy myself. I don't want to be obese. I'm not obese, but a little bit overweight. And I haven't weighed myself for 2 weeks. So you say I look thinner in the face. Do I? I don't know. I'd love to get rid of these lines. I look like Deputy Dog. Maybe I could have a facelift like that. Look, would be worth it, would it? You got to accept how you look. Anyway, okay, I'm not out for brownie points. Right, what we're talking about, loneliness. Yeah, it's something you need to think about. If you come out here, when you first come out here, it's exciting. You get your apartment and you're there and you've got your visa and you go out and have a few beers, talk to a few people. But you remember most people come here on holiday. You get to know people and they leave. So it's something you do need to think about. So that video's out on Tuesday. If you're coming out here, I suggest you watch it. If you're a member, you can watch it now. Okay. Right, I'm just trying to find where I left off there before Perbit left me that. Okay, there we are. Jesse says Facebook is... I've actually got... I only do Facebook because it brings traffic to my YouTube channel. And my Facebook videos are just, they're very little clippets of what I do around the house. I filmed the canopy that I had put at the front of my house. I even filmed my grass, how my grass is doing because it was terrible when I moved in. I've been watering it and seeding it and I've kept a running record on Facebook of it, But people like it. And, but I think I've got, how many followers I've got on now? I did look yesterday. I'm coming up to 70,000 followers, so I just keep uploading daily videos, but you certainly get a load of crap. Can we see Binto, Robert? Binto, are you sleeping or not? He's out for the count. He is out for the count. I'm afraid to move the camera because if I move the camera, I might not get it back into a nice position again. He'll wake up later. I'm not going anywhere quickly. Blood's coming out again. Hope you're not eating. Look at that, look. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have rabies. Right. Good morning, everyone, from Donkey Kong. Jesse, Peter, I can't remember. Have you done any live stream or videos with Integrity Legal? And have you tried Pancake Palace? No, well, Pancake Palace is in Bangkok and I'm in Hua Hin now and he's recently just opened it. And no, I haven't. I haven't done any videos with him. Recently, joint videos. I've done Alpha Omega. Last Sunday, I had Pat. Bangkok Pat was on the channel. That was quite good, but he couldn't stay for too long, which I was a bit disappointed with, but it was a good stream. Dennis, I'm going to my Thailand embassy for more information. About what, Dennis? I can give you the information right here. What do you want to know? Hi, Scott in New Zealand. Robert, Dennis, you must watch Peter's videos on living Thailand. It's truly superb advice. Thank you, Robert. Hang on, where did I put the check? Check's in the post. Okay, I'm just going to find it. All right. Carl, hi, Peter. It's starting to rain a lot now. Yeah, Hua Hin doesn't get that much rain, to be honest with you. I remember last year we arrived in rainy season. Dennis says, I'm coming down with 4 million Canadian. I don't know how much that is, really, 4 million Canadian. What's the exchange rate on Canadian? Do you mean you're coming out here with 4 million Canadian? Sounds like a good budget, whatever it is. Let's work it out just for fun. Now, what's the exchange rate? I'm going to have to, let me put it in here. Exchange rates. That's the thing about Saturdays. You see, I can do this. It's very casual. Right, Canadian dollars. Canadian dollar into Thai baht. Okay, so one Canadian dollar is 23.69. So let's take 23.69. Put that in the old calculator there. 23.69 baht times 4 million. How many zeros is that? 400,000. That's 4 million, right? Right, that's 94,000. No, is that 94? That's 94. Yeah, 94,000 baht. 94,760 baht. Or is that 94 million? No, it can't be million. 760. No, it's 94,000. So divide that by, let's say, 10 years, okay? How many months would that be? 12, 24, 48, 60, 120 in a year, isn't it? I'll tell you what. You can go and work it off yourself. My brain's not there today. Right, Scott. Hi, Peter. Would 13 million baht and a pension of 40,000 baht a month be enough to live in Thailand for good? Probably Chatham. Well, the good news is Chatham would be very cheap. It's cheap to rent. It's a very quiet town. Whether it's enough or not, 13 million baht. Let's do that one then, the other way around. I don't know what's your currency. I'm going to do it in pounds because it can relate to that. So we'll say, right, that's 1 million. 13 million baht divided into 42. Okay, 309,000. Yeah, I think you'd be doing okay there, especially if you got your pension coming in. I've got my pension. It starts now. I'm getting a double month in June, but I only get about 41,000 baht a month. It's not a lot. I don't need it at the moment. I'm going to tuck it away. I try and pay this place off in 5 years. Okay, Ian, is it? I lived in Thailand for 25 years. Just came back to UK for the summer. Thailand, like UK, has gone to rack and ruin. I wouldn't go that far. It hasn't gone to rack and ruin. There are some plebs who come here now. I don't think it's as good as it used to be as far as being a tourist. The Thais have got what they call tourist fatigue because there's so many, bad people who come in. But I would say generally across the board, most people are respectful. It's a few bad eggs, isn't it? You only take a few. I once went to buy I had a taxi company in the UK for a while, and I wanted to. I've told this story before. I wanted to get an 8-seater because in the town where I lived, Kettering, I got quite a lot of inquiries for an 8-seater minibus to go, out of town, seaside resorts, London for the shows and everything. And the taxis we had, the black cabs, they were only 7-seaters, and all the other companies had the same taxis, 7-seaters, one next to the driver and 3 bench seat and 3 flip down seats. So I was going to buy, I did buy it in the end. I bought a Renault Traffic, is it? I think it was a Renault Traffic. And that's got a double bench seat next to the driver. So it's an 8-seater. So we picked up so much work because we were, my company was the only company who had an 8-seater taxi. We, take guys to football matches, ladies down to dinner and a show in London. And you can put the price high because 8 people are sharing the cost, so they don't mind. And so the point of this story is because I went to look at the Renault Traffic. I think it's called a Renault Traffic, and it had been converted into a proper taxi with a yellow light and everything. And I took it for a drive. I think the company was in Coventry, as I remember, not too far from me. And I took it for a drive, and I thought, yeah, it's all right. And I went back home, and I was thinking about it. And I went onto a website where it has a forum, and there were a lot of negative comments. Oh, I wouldn't buy this. It was this, and it was that. And, well, there wasn't a lot. There was a few. I'm not exaggerating now. There was a few. And I went back to the dean. I said, look, I'll be honest with you. I said, there's negative comments on this. And I said, it doesn't, I don't think I'm going to buy it. And he said, how did it drive? How did it feel? And I said, yeah, it was lovely. And he said, look, if we sell 100 of these, he said, there'll be 1 or 2 dissatisfied customers for whatever reason. And he said, the satisfied customers, they don't go onto forum and say, I love this. It's the best thing I've ever bought. They just drive it and they're happy with it. He said, it's the people who they're fed up, they're pissed off with us basically. And they go on every forum and they can find and they write shit about us. And I thought about it. I thought, yeah, he's right. And I went ahead and I bought that Renault Traffic. We picked up so much extra work because of it. And it was so reliable. It was the best move I ever made. So what's the point in telling that story? I think it was the guy who said, was it the guy who said Thailand's gone to rack and ruin? Anyway, the good story. Right. Oh, just to let you know, it's not a live stream though. Do you know the channel called Irish Times? I'm on his channel tomorrow as a guest. but it won't be live. So I guess you have, if you want to see it, just if you look at his channel, I guess the video is going to pop up in a week or two. It's like I say, we're going to do it like a live, but it'll be private, and then he'll edit it and put it up. I'm expecting a few. Every time I go on somebody else's channel, I get like the trolls follow me. Donkey Kong says, I deleted Facebook in 2019. It's an awful company. I've got no problem with the company, Donkey Kong, but it's just the people who go on there and troll you, you know. They seem to come out the woodwork, real knuckle draggers. You need a mobile dog camera. Well, he doesn't go out the house, really. He's just in the garden at the moment. Tracy, is it? How you doing, Tracy? Morning from the Rhoda Valley, South Wales, UK. I like Wales. I went up to, where was it I went to? I used to go to a place called Aberystwyth. It's right in the very north of Wales. It's a seaside town. Lovely. Bit windy, but very nice. Hi, Sean. You're always running. You're always off for a run. You must be a pretty fit guy. Oh, okay. 400,000, not 4 million, 400 million. Okay. Donkey Kong. I know an ex-colleague who retired to Thailand. He spent his entire pension in 2 years and had to return to the UK. How do you do that, though? Because they pay out monthly, don't they? Or it's not monthly, it's 4 weeks. So the UK pension, for instance, you get 13 payments a year. Like I say, mine's only about 41,000. You know, Franco, who does a moderating occasionally. I don't see him very often now. He comes to Thailand occasionally. He gets more than me because I didn't pay into the system for 30 years. He did. I think he gets close to £1,000 every 4 weeks. I'm trying to think of the right word. Whereas I get about 900. Better than nothing, is it? But you're saying about spending his entire pension. He must have had a private pension that he was able to just take out, right? Because you couldn't do it with a UK pension because they don't pay in advance. You have it monthly. Rob, I love coming to Thailand. I have been coming for 20 years, but I am so past the girl bar scene. I would prefer live bands, playing pool, massages, plus exploring the places on the beach. Absolutely. And people don't understand. I'm still nursing my wounded leg. People don't understand that. You know, they think, how can you be in Thailand and not want to go to go-go bars and not want to entertain the ladies and stuff? But it does get old hat. It does, especially when you're in a relationship. And for me, there's nothing more boring than sitting in a go-go bar. I went once about 18 months ago, and I was bored. I was bored, really bored. You know, for me now, I'll go out at 6. We go out most nights because it's so cheap down here in Hua Hin. So my girlfriend, she's got a dinner tonight with the colleagues in the hospital, so she won't be home till about 10. So I'll probably go into town by myself tonight, or I might meet somebody else, a friend. And but yeah, what I'll do, I'll go out and have a couple of beers with my meal. I'll have a nice dinner. I'll be home by 9 o'clock, you know, and that's what I do every night. And then I'll have a nice shower. I'll sit in the air-conditioned lounge, watch a bit of TV, a movie or something, and that's what I enjoy. Jesse says 4 million COD is 94.7 baht, 97.4 million baht. Okay, thank you, Jesse. Alibaba and the 40 ladies. Good afternoon. How you doing? What should we talk about today? We need a subject to talk about. Suggest something. We can have a chat about something rather than me just saying hello. A lot of people doing the equation there on the money there. Okay, Scott, anybody recommend something better than Chatham? Now, I am going to recommend something better than Chatham, and I would say Hua Hin. And I've mentioned it lots of times. My girlfriend and I, we were first originally going to live in Chatham, and it's really quiet. They've got a few bits and pieces, and I was trying to justify it. And I was saying, well, they've got 7-Elevens, they've got a little Lotus there, they've got a mall, you know, and it's too quiet. You know, you're going to get bored out your tree. In fact, I met a guy when we were staying in a little hotel on Chatham on the seafront a year ago. I was in a mall and I was breaking my cardinal rule. I was having a McDonald's. I never eat McDonald's. And this particular day, I fancied a McDonald's because they taste good, don't they? They're crap, but they taste good. And I was talking, guy on the next table, he said, oh, I recognize you, Thailand bound and everything. I'm like, yeah, how you doing? And we got talking, and I said to him, where do you live? And he said, oh, I live in Hua Hin. He said, I've just moved from Chatham. And I was like, oh, why did you move? And he says, do you know what? He says, I thought Chatham would be the perfect retirement place for me, place to live. He said, but he said, I thought Chatham would be the perfect place to live. And he said, I moved there. And he says, I found myself driving on my scooter into, because half an hour journey, right? He said, I found myself driving to Hua Hin every day because I was so bored. So, in Hua Hin, there's a couple of decent sized malls. There's plenty of Western restaurants, Thai restaurants, 65 baht for a large beer in most restaurants, not the girly bars, restaurants. And I would definitely say go and live there for a while before you pull up sticks and live there full time, Scott. You might regret it. Okay, a lot of people correcting me on the 4 million now. Okay, no problem. I'm getting hammered now. Look, Dave says he read it wrong. Okay, hands up. I admit it. Okay, let's move on. Do you plan on visiting Bangkok or Pattaya again? Yeah, definitely. I mean, Hua Hin's nice. We live here. Our house is here. They've got a really good kennels here, dog hotel. It's a little bit expensive. It's 600. Well, it's not expensive compared to some others. It's 600 baht a night. But what we want to do, we've had Bintul now since, how many months have we had him? He's 7 months old now. We've had him, I think we got him in, how long have we've had him a few months now. He's still very shy, still grown up. We want to wait till he's an adult, and then we're going to kennel him. And I want to go to, I want to do the train. I've never done the train, Hua Hin to Bangkok. I want to do that. And I want to go back to Fortune Town. If you haven't been to Fortune Town, that's like the IT mall. They do all the laptops and the selfie sticks and the lights. And, it's a YouTuber's, a social media's heaven. There's nothing much down here like that, a few little stalls. But I don't think I'm going to go to Pattaya. I've got no reason to go to Pattaya. I was kind of making videos with Mark from One Stop Visa, but he's kind of ill at the moment. And I don't really advertise him too much. No, very nice guy. I think he's got plenty of business, but I've heard he's not very well at the moment. At the moment, I'm kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Collaborating with Ing from Smile Visa here in Hua Hin. She helped me a little bit with the yellow book. I didn't have to pay her any money. I've done videos with her, and I did most of it myself, but there was a couple of forms I wasn't sure on. And she said, look, just bring them over. I'll have a look at them for you. So she helped me out. So it's quite a lot of paperwork for the yellow book. Right, Macmillan Nurse, how you doing? Hello, Peter from a very hot Saudi Arabia. Any plans to get your dog chipped when you start taking him out? I'm not sure. I haven't really thought about it. We don't really take him out at the moment because to take him out, we have to take him in a half an hour car ride to the reservoir or somewhere. Got a nice walk around it because around here it's just soy dogs, and we can walk. And if a dog comes, you just carry a stick and you hold it up, and they know what that means, and they back off. But there's one particular road. It's got 4 dogs outside of a house, and if I had him, even if I picked him up, they'd just rip him to bits. They're territorial and they're big soy dogs, and they're very vicious. Some of them are, there is rabies in Thailand. I don't think it's like a massive problem, but some dogs do have rabies, and he's a little dog. He's very timid, and at the very least, it would frighten him to death. So I daren't take him out here. I mean, his exercise at the moment, I'm trying to get him to stay outside. He's very timid. If I put him out in the back, I've got a nice yard. Let's just get rid of your comment there. Where were we? If I put him out in the yard, there's plenty of room. I mean, I've got a nice big carport and stuff. But what he tends to do, if he hears a motorbike or somebody walking down the street, he gets scared. And he comes around to the back door, and I've put the child gate there so he can't come in. And he whimpers at the child gate. But I'm trying to not bring him in because I want him to get used to being outside. I mean, the plan is one day is to just leave. If we go out for a few hours, just leave him in the garden. It's all shaded with a carport. The only thing I'm worried about, and you might laugh at this, and let me just tell my girlfriend that I'm live because she keeps texting me and she'll wonder why I'm not writing back to her live now. Right. I'm not being dramatic, but the only thing I'm a bit concerned about is there's our back wall behind it. There's nothing there except coconut and banana trees. Okay. And I'm just worried that a big snake might come over and wrap itself around him and eat him. I mean, that might sound dramatic, but I've seen snakes there. I remember I was walking down Soi 38 in Bangkok, and I've told this story many times as well, so I'll abbreviate it. There was a snake, and it was a length. It took the entire Soi from. It was at night, but its tail was on one side of the Soi, and its head was on the other side, and its head was the size of a cat, slightly bigger. If he's running around, they can smell with their tongues. They taste the air, don't they? And a snake like that would have no problem swallowing him. So that's the only thing that concerns me is leaving him on his own. I've got cameras here. I can see the front, back sides of the house and everything. So if he's out there and I'm on the laptop, I can occasionally look there and I can see he's okay. But if we went away for a few hours, I'm a bit concerned that is probably unlikely, but it's something that could happen, and it would break my girlfriend's heart because she loves him like he's her son or something. She's never had kids, and she literally loves him, and if she come home and he'd gone, then I don't know what would happen. Traveler Scholar, is it? I emailed you about whether or not to go to Pattaya from Bangkok. Thanks for your reply. I don't think I'll make it on my upcoming trip, but I will plan on it for the next trip after that. And I remember your email, and you were talking about the bars and stuff. Yeah, I mean, if you're into that stuff, there's a lot more choice in Pattaya, and you'll save money. It's just so expensive in like Nana and Soy Cowboy now. They take the mickey now. It used to be quite reasonable prices. It's not just a price. It's not just prices have gone up. They just take the mickey. It's almost a case of we'll leave your wallet at the entrance. We'll clear it out in 10 minutes. You can come back and pick it up. Who's that? Martin. I have retired at Kalasan rural area. For me, it's a good place, even if it can be a little boring at times when power goes and it's raining. I know what you mean, Martin. I mean, my girlfriend's finishing work on Tuesday, so I'll have her company again. We thought it was a good idea for her to work down here, and she feels a bit guilty about not working. But at the end of the day, she's earning 17K a month, and I said, look, we don't need the money. They wanted to do shifts where she finishes at 11 and midnight. And I said, I haven't moved down here to be on my own in a Thai village. We need to decide what we're going to do. And she's finishing. But I know exactly what you mean, because when she's at work, I've got YouTube and everything. And sometimes I'll be editing the Saturday morning stories, and 3 o'clock I'm finished. And she's not going to be home. Well, now she finishes at 4 because she put her foot down. But back then she was, some days she'd work till 8. She'd get home at 9. It'd be 3 o'clock. I'd be like, what should I do? I'd do a bit in the garden, water the grass, and then I'd go for dinner. I'd go out somewhere, have a couple of beers, come back, and it's 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and it's like, it's just boring, So I know it can get boring on your own here. And lonely. Don't forget the video. 20 things that can make you lonely in Thailand. Okay, I'm going to put that up. He said, Derek, now, I don't know if you're taking the mickey, but it could be a serious question, so I'll answer it. He said, Peter, hi, did you ever try a ladyboy? I haven't ever tried one. It's not because they don't look pretty, some of them, and it's not because I've got any hang-ups about it. It's just I like women. I've always liked women. I've got no desire to sleep with a guy. At the end of the day, some of them do look very beautiful like women, but the bottom line is they are guys, okay? And for me, that's a psychological block. I'm not knocking anybody who's into ladyboys. I know guys who come out here, they're straight as a die, but when they come to Thailand, they do a few ladyboys, okay? I mean, it's just part of a trip to Thailand. So if they want to do it, good luck to them. And but if it's a serious question, no, I've never have. I'll just put that back up. Years ago, I'm talking, this is about my friend Simon saved me. It was about 1997. I was in Patpong, and not the main Patpong, but if you know Patpong, the supermarket Foodland, that's that part of Patpong. One of the King's bars that had a corner bar there, and it was a ladyboy bar. I didn't know. And just for a laugh, my friend Simon, and I wouldn't know because I was fairly new to Thailand. He took me in there, and they got stools outside, and we were sat outside, and this one who looked really gorgeous, I couldn't tell it was a ladyboy. Shut up, I'm on a live stream. He's dreaming. I couldn't tell it was a ladyboy, and I actually had her, or he, whatever, sitting on my lap, having a drink, my arm around him. In the end, my friend Simon, he wasn't going to let me go all the way. He says, it's a ladyboy. And I was like, nah. And I thought he was telling me it's a ladyboy because he fancied her and he wanted to take her. In the end, he convinced me. It was like, well, we got to go. Sorry. And right. How do I say that? Is it Poozy on Facebook there? Hi, watch every now and then, moving over in August, building new home just off the bypass, Chatham, near the university. Never done the bars, not interested, but love it down there. Have traveled all Thailand, love out in the provinces and Bangkok. Cheers, Mick. Yeah, you'll have a good life. It's certainly cheaper if you live, in a quieter neighborhood. If you can deal with the loneliness. I mean, the problem is if you don't speak Thai, it can be very lonely. Oh God, I'm burping like a good one today. The good thing about a place like Hua Hin or Pattaya, a lot of this staff in the restaurants and bars and stuff, they speak a decent level. I wouldn't even say decent. They speak a level of English. If your waiter doesn't speak English, she'll call over a friend who speaks some English, and you can communicate here. But I remember once I stayed in a hotel near Simon's house in Bangwa. We were going somewhere the next day, and I can't remember where it was. And he said, we might as well just stay instead of going back to Sukhumvit, because we're going what it was, I used to go over to his for a Sunday roast every Sunday. I don't know why I stopped going in the end. Anyway, I used to go over on a Sunday. Then we decided on the Monday morning we were going to go early. And I think we were coming down to Hua Hin, actually, in his car at the time. And he's a lot nearer to Hua Hin because he's in Bang Wah. It's the end of the BTS line. Bang Na is at the other end. And so I went over Sunday roast, and he said, well, you might as well, you have your Sunday roast, you sit around, we watch his big TV screen, play a few games on his, he's got one of those, forget what you call them now, virtual reality, and his sons are talking to me and we're messing about. And it gets, we have a few drinks, and it gets to about 8 o'clock at night. And, for me, I have to get a taxi back to the train station back to Nana, then back to my apartment in Soi 8. And he was like, well, you might as well. There's a little hotel around the corner, stay there, And I thought, okay, went there, 500 baht a night. It was okay. It was clean. Come down in the morning. I wanted breakfast. Okay. I couldn't order it because I didn't know any Thai. The menu was totally in Thai. So this is what can trip you up a little bit. Be very careful. If you're going to live in a totally Thai area and you don't speak any Thai, it can become very, very frustrating because very few people speak English, and it's a difficult one. And I for one, didn't like the fact I ended up going to 7-Eleven buying a mama, pot noodle, and putting the hot water in from 7-Eleven. And just because I couldn't tell the staff in the hotel, point out a picture or speak Thai. Now I can order many, many dishes in Thai and speak a decent level. But at that time, I didn't, I couldn't even order any food. And, I had to go to 7-Eleven. Things like that people don't think about. Jesse, Peter, what would you tell an American woman who is visiting Thailand for the first time and will be 61 years old at the time of arrival, her first time outside of her home country? Is it somebody you know? It depends on her personality, doesn't it? Okay, generally, what would I tell her? Okay, the first thing I would tell her is it's safe. Don't worry about your safety. You're not going to get held up at gunpoint or anything like that. It's very safe for a woman here. But the other thing I'd say is don't let anybody initiate a sale or a trip, or, if a tuk-tuk driver comes up and says, look, I've got a friend, he's got a shop, he sells gems, you can sell them in your own, all that sort of stuff, don't have anything to do with it. Whatever you want to do, you choose it. You choose a taxi, you choose a tuk-tuk, but it's safe. As far as fun goes, if she's coming to Bangkok, she's going to have a lot of fun. There's lots of shows. There's lots of things for ladies to do. It's all on the internet. I'm sure she'll do a lot of research before she comes here. Defender 1026. Does the ferry between Hua Hin and Pattaya still operate? I get this every live stream. No, it doesn't. It went out of business during COVID. And if you go onto social media, there's people who say, yeah, it's back in business. BS. It's not. It's not. Donkey Kong, okay, it was a private pension that he used up in 2 years. Fair enough. Alibaba and the 40 ladies. Your girlfriend wanted a cat. You could still get a cat to keep Bintul company. He'd be pumping it, wouldn't he, all night? The cage would be rattling. I'm not a cat lover myself. I mean, it's really weird. I told you the story before. My girlfriend picked me on Tinder because I had somebody told me that, the Thai women, if you've got a little dog or a little cat, they like that. So I was at my friend Simon's house. He's got Persian cats, and there was one on the table, and I was like, struck. Simon, take some pictures of me. I got the best one, put it up on Tinder. And months after that, when we were a couple, as it were, I said to her, why did you choose me out of all the thousands of guys on Facebook? Could have choose a lot, I suppose. And she said, I thought you liked cats. She said, you were there with a cat, and I love cats. And I said, well, I only did that, so you'd click on me, sort of thing. And I also told her, I also put on the Tinder site, I was 62 at the time, and I said I was 57. And she said to me, why did you put this as months later? She said, why did you put your 57 when you're 62? And I said, look, I said, if I'd put I was 62, would you have clicked? She says, no. And I says, well, what about now? I'm 62. Are you going to run off? And she says, no, it's too late. I love you now. So I said, that's why I put I was 57 and with a cat. All right. Okay. Traveler Scholar. Also, I was watching the replay of your live stream with Bangkok Pat. You mentioned you've transitioned your channel from being about Thai goals to focusing more on retirement in Thailand. Absolutely. So when I first I'll tell you what it is. When I first came to Thailand, I was separated with my Korean wife of 33 years. I was living as a single guy in the heart of Nana. A lot of people just assumed I was a monger, and I went out to Soy Cowboy and Nana every night, and I was banging bar girls. And I wasn't, I didn't have a girlfriend for the first 5 months I was out here. But, when I was in, I'll have to stop saying, it's so hard to stop saying, when I was during COVID, when I was doing live streams from my garden shed, I had all the time in the world to prepare competitions and games because there was nothing to do, right? We couldn't leave our houses. And I used to do a lot of, I still do the Monga Minute actually in the members stream. That'll be Sunday after the regular stream. And I used to talk a lot about bar girls and experiences and all that. But now I've moved down to Hua Hin. I get recognized a lot in Hua Hin, a lot more than I did in Bangkok, which surprised me. And that's because there is a big retirement community here in Hua Hin. I don't mean it's God's waiting room or anything like that. It's still a fun town to be here, plenty of bars and restaurants and stuff. But I get recognized nearly every day. I went to a local market, it's half a mile from my house, sitting there, next table, Swedish guy. He said, "Oh, you're Peter from Thailand Band." I was like, "Yeah." And got talking to him, and I've seen him a couple of times now. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to focus now. I've lost a lot of my subscribers that used to watch for the manga stuff, you know, the manga, when I used to talk about, in fact, when I did a video, Bangkok Pat interviewed me about 3 years ago on his live stream. We've been on each other's streams and videos lots of times. We did a video together on Soy Cowboy. But when because Bangkok Pat makes very serious documentary style videos, which are very good, by the way, I'm subscribed to him. Because he has a different audience to me. His audience are most of them straight-laced and stuff. And when he interviewed me, he had to turn off the comments because what happened is people went onto his channel and they were leaving comments and they were saying like, "Why did he get that Monga Peter on there? All he talks about is girls and bar fines." And, you know, he got so many comments like that. He had to actually turn the comments off. And so now I've moved down here. I'm trying to get away from that image because I'm trying to offer a lot of advice to people there's a lot of people who come out to Thailand, they know it all already, okay? And I don't make videos anymore like 10 things you shouldn't do in Thailand, don't touch people's heads, don't step on a banknote, because that's been done and dusted to death, you know, everybody's done that. But what I try and do now is I try to give out information. If a guy's sitting in America or Europe somewhere and he's planning to come out here and he's made up his mind, I want to make videos about, I don't get as many viewings on the videos I make now as I used to. You know, 20 things you shouldn't do in a go-go bar. If you look at that, that's done over 1 million viewings on my channel. I put it out about 3 years ago, okay? 20 lies that bar girls tell you. That's done 500,000 views, okay? I did one on the Motor Museum. That's done 1,500 viewings. So I try to make videos now that are informative. People who are coming out here, they're informal, not informal, that's the wrong word, informative. You know, like I'll go and interview an insurance broker because that's something that people think about when they come out here, health insurance. So they want to know. So I'll make a video on health insurance, local places to hang out around here if they're coming down here. I did the Hard Rock Cafe. Again, it didn't get thousands and thousands of views, but it's useful for some people. A lot of golfers come out here. I made a video in the Royal Golf Club here in Hua Hin, Thailand's oldest golf club, but again, low numbers. But that's the way I'm moving. And I seem to have picked up a lot of subscribers of guys who are thinking about coming out here or they want to come out here. And I even get guys email me now questions, a lot of questions. And if they're like, it's a 1-line, 2-line question, I'll answer it. But sometimes I get guys, they'll write and they'll say, "I'm coming out to Thailand. Can you tell me the answer to this? 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, you know, what is this? And I tell them, you know, you can do the consultancy service with me. I can't answer all this for you. Okay, Jesse, I still have the imagery in my mind of driving around Pattaya and having to dodge all the dogs laying under the shades or trees in the middle of the street. Well, you say that. Here it's even worse because a lot of the soys around here, not the main soy that runs through the village. There's one main road, windy road, that runs through the village. It's about 1 mile long. I take that and I'm on the highway. But there's other restaurants and bars I have to take different roads and they're unlit. They're dark. And you get soy dogs. They're actually laying across the middle of the road asleep. And this is at 10 o'clock at night. And you're going along on the scooter. And I've had to brake hard or I would have run over this dog, you know. Yeah, they can be a nuisance. Dave, and Hua Hin has 4 night markets and 3 or 4 day markets. Yeah, but you know, Dave, I'm sure you know this. The markets near the Holiday Inn, they're quite expensive because they're geared at the tourists who are staying in all those hotels. I had a small Heineken, it cost me 80 baht. If I go to Bangkok Port, for those who don't know Bangkok Port, I said it then, didn't I? Bangkok Port, it means my father's house, basically. That's what it's called in Thai. So that's the big market near the railway station, not too far from the railway station. They have dancing girls all in the, the glittery little bits and pieces they wear. They have a live band, which in my opinion is too loud, but they have a live band. You'll get, I don't know, 1,000 people in their night, 500 people, I don't know. But that's very, very good value. And since when I first went there, they only had Thai food. Now they've got Indian food. They've got Mexican food, they've got burgers, they've got hot dogs, they do pizza and all the delicious Thai food. And the best thing about it is it's 65 baht for a large beer, Chang or a Lee or something like that. So out of the markets, the one I recommend is Bangkok. It's very good value for money compared to the other markets. Traveller Scholar, I hope you keep talking about girls. It's kind of hard not to, isn't it? Because once you get fed up of girls completely, then that's a pretty sad day. What are you doing? Let's see if we can get him up here. Hi, Peter. How are you? Is there any dog-friendly hotels in Thailand? Maybe you can take Binto with you and your partner. Got it all worked out already. We won't take him. It's too much hassle. What we'll do, we'll put him in a dog hotel here in Hue An. Come here, Binto. Come. He looks gormless. He's just woke up. Come here. Go and say hello to everyone. Yeah, we'll put him in a little dog hotel, and then he'll be safe there, and we can go and he's probably been licking his arse, and now he's licking me. We'll put him in a little dog hotel, and we can go off to Bangkok. Don't lick my face. I've been licking your backside or something. Herbert, you described Hue Hin as sort of boring, but I've been watching YouTube and it looks okay. Okay, that's a good point. I don't really want to put out there that it's boring, because I don't think it is boring, but I've had comments from people in the past who have said things like, oh, I went to Hue Hin and it was boring, but those are real mongers who go to Pattaya and they thought I'd come and have a look, and it doesn't have the bars and the go-go bars. All right, enough of your licking. Let's put you down. I bet I'm covered in hairs now. Yeah, covered in hairs. Clean t-shirt on as well. That's it. Go and have a drink of water. Yeah, I don't mean to put it out as a boring town. It's not boring, but I tell, because I know what you'd like to do when you come out here, okay? We've been talking for a long time. So I don't want to upsell it and you get here and you think, oh, it's boring here, because it's not that kind of town. It's not Pattaya. He's licking my bloody legs now. Get off. You know why they lick you, dogs, right? It's the salt on your body. They like the salt. Yeah, so that's all it is. I didn't want you to think, sell it to you and think, oh, it sounds fantastic. You get here and you think, oh, there's nothing much here for you. That is. Alibaba and the 40 Ladies. In 2017, I spotted a 30-meter python in a tree outside the old British Embassy behind Central Embassy Mall. That was on Wireless Road. Beautiful building. Wow, that's a big one. That is a big one. So I went on to a few apps. Did a bit of research on how to get snakes out of your garden. I don't know if I'd have the balls to do it, but basically, what they said, if a snake comes in the garden, they don't come there to bite you. They don't want confrontation. They'll only lash out if they feel cornered or something like that. I can see hair on the camera. Hairy bugger. We have to brush him like nearly every day now because he's molting. Fills a bin up with fur. People said I should shave him, but I researched it. And he's got a double coat, and a double coat helps keep him cool, believe it or not. What were we talking about? I always do this. I go off subject and I forgot what I was talking about. We were talking about pythons, weren't we? And then what was I talking about? It's gone. Right. I hope it'll come back. Herbert says, yeah, I forget this. You see, in English slang, I think everybody understands it, but I remember once I was doing a live stream. I said, yeah, I took the kids out in the caravan, and Herbert had to go and look up caravan because they don't have that word in America, or if they have it, it means something else. And taking the mickey basically means like taking the piss, taking advantage of somebody. Like it's like somebody buys me 2 drinks, and I said, well, I've got to go home now. I don't buy him one. I'm taking the mickey out of him because I haven't bought him a drink. Yeah, kind of not quite scam, but taking advantage really. Jesse, Peter, only about 24,000 followers before you get yourself a well-deserved YouTube play button. Do you have a plan to where to hang it? If I know you'll get it soon. I spoke about this at the beginning, Jesse. I'm very skeptical whether I'll get it or not because, during COVID, I was getting 400 new subscribers a day. When I first moved down here, I was going backwards. I'd get 5 subscribers and I'd lose 7, you know, and I was getting really worried. I was like, what's going on? But it was during the transitional period when I was losing the manga crowd and I hadn't quite gained the retirement crowd. And now it's good again. It's, you know, I'm getting how many am I up to now? Not that I'm tracking it. Well, I'm 76,000, but I'll be up to 77,000. It's still a long way to go, isn't it? I mean, some YouTube channels out there, they just, you know, they just fly, don't they? I mean, I remember watching Retired Working For You, the Canadian guy. He doesn't seem to make videos these days. Very good produced videos, very interesting, a lot of personality, a lot of good information. But he went, I remember he got to 100,000. He was watching YouTube. He was on 99,000. He was there. He was like, we need one more. We need one more. And they were filming it and somebody clicked and he got 100,000. I looked a few months later, maybe a year later, he had 400,000. 400,000. I think he'd been gone for about a year. You know, I'm into my 6th year now. But at the end of the day, I'm an old man who talks about him into a camera. So not overly exciting for some people, I guess. You know, talking about you, Facebook and terrible comments. I had a guy, some of the comments, they're just, you can tell they're just really nasty. Let me take this one off for a minute. So I do a lot of videos on Facebook about this house, things we buy. Like I had to put some guttering up and I'll film it. I'll tell people how much it costs, or the canopy I've had put at the front of the house trying to shade the sun. And it's a nice house. It isn't, it's about 8 miles out of Hua Hin South, you know, because of the budget. It's a nice house. We wanted a nice living space, okay? And I explained this on Facebook, but it's not in the best area, okay, because we're quite far out of town. But it's half an hour to get into town in the car or the scooter, and we don't go every day. And there's a few bars and restaurants really locally that we can use. And some guy left a comment. He said, he says, oh, it's a dump. I wouldn't put my dog in there. How could you live there? And you think, are you for real? You know, you've seen the house, what it is. And no, I think it's just jealousy, isn't it? Hi, Peter. Can you tell the story about the guy you gave some advice to and then he directly forwarded the advice to the bar girl? Yeah. I think I mentioned it before, didn't I? That's why I don't give out advice about bar girls anymore. So basically what happened in the first sort of couple of years I was doing this, I did have a lot of experience with bar girls, because I used to go out. I lived in Thailand. I used to go out to Nana and Cowboy and Pat Pong, and I used to go down to Pat, and we did that every week, me and Simon and other friends. I was 36, 37, not 66 like I am now. You know, I went out with friends who got scammed, all sorts of stories I could tell about bar girls. I mean, Tyrish Times, when he has me on tomorrow, he's gonna want a few interesting stories, isn't he? So I've got a couple in my head. I'll probably tell him about the 7-Eleven girl and the 100 baht towards your lunch. They're the best stories I've got, I think. And but this particular story, what it was, guys used to write to me and they say, look, I met this girl. She said she doesn't work in a bar, but she works here, and this is it. And they used to describe everything. And they said, what do you think? Is she a decent girl? And because of experience, I'd think, no, that's not right. She's playing you. And I'd write back and tell him what I thought, okay? I didn't say it was gospel, that it's 100% truth. I just said, look, think about this, think about that, and think about this. Like some girl was saying that her mother was sick and she needed 30,000 baht a month. So I'd write back to the guy and say, well, look, your normal Thai family get by on about less than 20,000. Some families in the country, less than that, 10,000 a month. So 30,000. And I used to give this advice about girls. So there was one guy who was dating an obvious bar girl, and she was obviously playing him, and she was obviously seeing him for a sucker. And I wrote this email back to him, and I pointed out everything that was a red flag. And I said, look, I'll be honest with you, if you want. And then he wrote to me again. He says, what would you do? And I said, me personally, I'd drop her like a hot brick. He sent the email to her, didn't he? She found out my email address because he left the email address there. She wrote to me and had a go at me. And she said, how dare you get involved in our lives? You don't know me, and blah, blah, blah. So I just said, right, that's it. If I meet a guy face to face, I'll help him out. But I never do any. I tell guys straight in email, I tell them I've got a standard email that I've saved. And if somebody says, look, I've got this girlfriend, what do you think? I just copy and paste it every time. President Poopy Pants. Okay. Are the marriage rates in Thailand decreasing like here in the US? Young people just are not getting married or having kids. I'll be completely honest with you. I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's not something I've looked into. I'm not getting married to my Thai girlfriend. We've decided that's not necessary, but you're talking about younger people. I'm sure you can find that information out on the internet. I honestly don't know. Sorry, I can't be more helpful. Travel Scholar. Last time I was in Nana, I went into this bar where I thought the women were significantly better looking than the others. I only found out later that it was a ladyboy bar. You're talking about Casanova in the corner. That's gone now. What's the best steakhouse in Pattaya? I tell you, I can't tell you the best steakhouse, but the best restaurant I used to like to go to in Pattaya was the Golden Ferret, especially the Sunday lunch. It's opposite Soy 8 on the other side of the road. There's like 2 roads that go round to Soy Bakau. It's next to there's a fish and chip shop there. What's his name? Something like Sandy's or Sharples Fish and Chips. But I thought the fish and chips in the Golden Ferret were just as good. Is that Hua Hin in the background? It is. It's not my. It is a green screen. It's not my real view because you can see the sea isn't moving. But that is Hua Hin. Right, Perba. Is there any way to get from Pattaya to Hua Hin now? The only way is by road. It's a five and a half hour trip. I've driven it actually. I stopped for a coffee. I took the coffee in the car. It took me 5 hours. It's quite it's quite a haul actually because we're on the. You imagine the Gulf of Pattaya. It's like a horseshoe. So Pattaya is on this side, and then right opposite, slightly down, is Hua Hin. Michael Max, hi Peter, you have a great view behind you. How much would a place be in Hua Hin with a similar view? Not as much as you'd think, actually. It depends. If you're right in the center of Hua Hin, yeah, quite pricey. If you moved to the edge of town, like say just on the outskirts before you hit it, you could probably get a 1-bedroom apartment for 15,000 baht a month. If you're in town and you had a view like this, probably 30,000. I pay the mortgage on this place. It's 11,000 baht a month. My friend rents a villa. He's got a swimming pool. I don't have a swimming pool. He pays 30,000 baht a month, and that's near the immigration on 88. He's not even in town. He doesn't have a sea view. Everybody comes out to Thailand, says they want a sea view. They're not always easy to get because that's what everybody wants, unless you're willing to live out, Jody, hello, Peter. Hello, Jody. I heard there was once a high-speed boat ferry went from Pattaya to Hua Hin. Have you heard of this or any plans to put it back in operation? Yeah, it was a very good service. It was 1,200 baht to go from Pattaya to Hua Hin or vice versa. If you took the VIP on the second deck, it was 1,400 baht. They went out of business during COVID. They haven't reopened. There's no plans. I haven't heard anything about reopening. If you go on social media, there is some BS that it has already opened, but I can tell you right now, living here, it hasn't opened, and I haven't heard of any plans for it to open. It's a shame because I don't know how long it took. Probably took an hour and a half, right? Guys who could go to Pattaya, they could come over for one night, check it out, see what it's like. If it's not for them, they won't come in. They could come back if they did like it. Donkey Kong, I've never been to Thailand, but one thing that confuses me, why are there so many street dogs? Dave at Alpha Omega occasionally is scared of the dogs. They just don't. The reason there's so many of them is because they don't cull them. Dogs like here, for instance, you have a few wild dogs in an area. They mate. They get together. They get the party going, and they have 6 pups, and then they grow up and they mate. And I think. What's up with you coughing like that? Get out of the bin. God, what? He's teething. He's into everything. Thought I didn't see you, didn't you? Come in. I think they are now making a bit of an effort, and there are some very kind Thai people who feed them, not only Thais, foreigners as well, take bags of rice out to them and, leftover food. Get out the bin. It can be really annoying, Go on. He's bored. You've got a toy there, haven't you? If I give him a new toy, he'll be fine. The problem with Shibas, they need new toys. They get bored really quickly. I've got to make sure I give him something that's not going to cut his mouth up. I haven't got anything. Let me have a look in this drawer. Hang on. Bear with me. It's keeping the dog happy time. No, you've had it, mate. There's nothing for you. No. Okay. Right. That's the reason why, basically. Is it T? I can't pronounce your name. Sorry, I don't want to ruin it. Your B-roll walkabouts have gotten really good lately. Thank you very much. So I do make the effort. I've been a bit I haven't been lazy. I'll tell you the truth. So what he's talking about is when I put the Saturday stories out, I always have B-roll behind me, and I shoot the B-roll myself. I don't go onto YouTube and take somebody else's like a lot of people do. That's what they do. They've got something called creative content on YouTube, and if a video's under that section, you're allowed to use it. And a lot of guys they can't be bothered. But I go out with a little mini camera and I walk about, and I've done the railway station, the mountain here. But the problem is here, I've kind of run out of things to film. I've filmed both of the malls. I've filmed around the railway station, some of the local areas. I've filmed 94. all around that area, the bars. I haven't filmed Binter Bar yet, but that's a bit difficult because people don't like being filmed in bars. I filmed around the Hilton. I filmed the Fishing Pier. You name it. And I've run out of things. And what I've been doing lately, I've been replaying background videos because I just don't have any new ones. I'll have to put my thinking cap on. Scott, good looking dog. Woof, woof. Thank you. Dale, hey, Peter, I hope you're well. Just wanted to say hello. Hi, Dale. Rolling Coconut. Greetings, Peter, and cheers to all. Let's get through some of these now. I'm probably a bit behind. Now what you're doing. You know, I said at the beginning, I met my friend Simon. We had a full English breakfast. I never have one these days, but I thought I'd treat myself. And the bacon was lovely, but salty. Blimey, an hour already. Doesn't time go fast? Dog says the real subscribers are still here. Thank you very much. Yeah. That's something I didn't mention when I was talking about a lot of the Monga subscribers going off. The other thing that made a difference was the timing. When I was in England, I used to put the live stream out at 10 o'clock on a Friday, 9 o'clock on a Sunday, and that would suit people around the world in certain places, but not other places. Of course, here I'm on Thai time now, and so it's all a different time. But there is a number of people who've been with me from the early days, and I do recognise their name. Perbert, for instance, he's been watching for a long time. Dog, yourself, Alibaba, quite a while. I can only see a few names here, so if you're one of those guys, thanks very much. Perbert says, Monga channels don't get clicks, retirement does. I don't know, that guy, Mac TV, seems to be doing very well in Pattaya. I mean, that's what he talks about, isn't it? The bar girls and the bars and what you shouldn't do in a bar and his new bar and stuff. Typecast in it, okay. Kiwi Chris, I'm only 57 and I went to Hawaii twice last year. Loved it. Nice balance of traditional Thai, Western style, malls, etc. Nightlife returning in November. Yeah, you know, you've got to do what's right for you. Okay, I've come here for me and my girlfriend, not because I think somebody else will like it. There's guys who live in Khon Kaen, Wes. I don't think he's in today. He loves it up there. I lived in Khon Kaen for 2 years. It's not a place I want to live. It's not. I want to live near the coast. It doesn't mean I go to the beach every day, but it's available. It's what you do. Other people wouldn't dream of leaving the city. Bangkok, 10 million people, MRT, BTS, you know, vibrant nightlife, bars and clubs, jazz clubs. That's for them, right? I've got to the age where I don't want that now, you know. So what suits you? That's why I always say, if you're coming out here and you're thinking of a location, go and live there for a month. Don't make a decision until you've tried a few places. President Poopy Pants, you ever watch Russian YouTuber living in Thailand called, I can't pronounce his name, Sanctioned Man, is it? He's a little different than your average. No, is that the guy with the cars in Pattaya, buys and sells cars? Somebody told me about. Perbert says, typecasting hurts you, okay. Robert Koch, how do you clip his nails? I mean, Binto, not someone else. Well, I won't be clipping anybody else's nails. I've got dog cutters. I learned you've got to be very careful when you cut animals' nails, especially dogs, because they have a vein that runs through the nail and it stops so far. And if you cut too high up, I've done it with not with Binto, with Benji, the beagle. Once I cut his nail and he let out a yelp, and I had to wrap his paw up in tissue because I'd cut into the vein. Very bad mistake. So what I do now, the good thing with Binto, he's got black claws where the veins are, and when they grow out, they're actually white, so I can actually see the bit that's got no veins. And he struggles. My girlfriend holds him, talks to me in Thai. She wraps herself around him. We get his foot, and now he's very calm. We just clip all his nails because he scratches you to bits, you know, not on purpose. Sean, I like the comparison between a bar girl and a shiny, well-serviced hire car. So true. That was one I'd done years ago. Do you remember? I gave a funny you should remember that. I've forgotten all about that. So somebody was talking about bar girls, and I was trying to think of a good explanation about a bar girl. And I was talking about guys who, let's use Pattaya as an example. There's a lot of new guys here now, so I think I'll tell the story again. So what I was trying to describe, I was trying to say there were guys who were contacting me and saying, well, I take the same girl every time I come out to Pattaya. This girl works in this bar, and I come out 3 or 4 times a year. And when I come out, I always take this girl out for 2 weeks. She's great. We get on like a house on fire. Another saying there, Perbert, house on fire. That means we get on very well. And she's always there. And some guys were actually believing she wasn't going with any other guys, you know, not all, but some. So I tried to come up with a scenario where people could relate to the girl in the bar as to how it works. So the best one I could come up with was this. So if you go to a country and you go to a car hiring place, a car hire, and you find the perfect car for you, and it's the right price. It's got electric windows. It's got a great stereo system. It's got leather seats, goes like shit off a shovel, you know, and you really like that car. And you say to the owner of the hire shop, you say, right, I want this car for 2 weeks. And you drive it and you take it back and you think, yeah, that was great. Then you tell the guy, I'm coming back in 3 months on this date. I want to reserve that car because I love it and I want to hire that car. Make sure it's available in 3 months' time. And he'll put you in the diary and he's like, yeah. So every time you go back, that car is available for you, just like the girl in the bar, right? But when you're not there, that car is not going to sit parked and nobody else is going to hire it because it's a hire shop, right? So what's going to happen is guys are going to come to wherever it is. They're going to hire that car. It's going to be driven so many weeks before you get back. And then when you get back, there's a space in the diary that says, John's coming back. He needs this car again. But in the meantime, it's had 100 other people drive it. And it's exactly the same for the bar girl. So you go to the same bar girl and you take her for 2 weeks and you go home for 3 months, just like that hire car. She's out for hire every time, you know. That's the best way I could describe it. But well done for remembering that because I've totally forgotten about it. Jesse, I know the rates for population are down to like 0.87. That's no good. I know they've got a problem in Japan. They've been going on for a long time about people not having children in Japan. They're worried about the population going down. Dog says birth rates are down in Thailand as well. My generation, 80s and 90s of people, obviously just want to make kids and don't want to make kids anymore. Chris, was that? It's really low birth. Okay, you're talking to someone else. Perbit, did the awning cool the house? We haven't really had it. Yeah, it didn't. No, it doesn't cool it down. I'll tell you what it does. So if you don't know, our house faces the sun in the afternoon. People have a go at me and say, well, why didn't you go and try before you bought it? But whether the sun's on the other side, I mean, in the daytime, it's cool on this side of the house. Wherever we bought it, the sun would have been on one side and that side of the house would have been hot, you know. So, you know, no point in criticizing. There's nothing we could do about it. But what it is, the sun's directly on the front of the house in the afternoon. So I put a UV protector over all the windows. Not me, I got a company in, which takes down the direct sunlight coming in as much. And I've also had a canopy built which comes down like that. So what it does now, it stops the direct sunlight coming in, which helps a lot. And tomorrow, what do you want, a pee? I had a pee in the lounge the other day. What it is, we're having a ceiling fan put in tomorrow. And if that doesn't work, because the problem is here, they don't insulate the roof. So the sun's beating down on the tiles all day. You know how hot it can get in Thailand. And that heat radiates down. There's a couple of things you can do. You can insulate it. You can put a whirly bird in. Whirly bird, you know, those little windmill things that the heat rises, it goes round. And there's so many things you can do. So I'm taking it step by step. If it doesn't cool down with the fan and the front, if it's doable, don't forget these are very hot months as well at the moment. If it helps a lot, then I won't bother with the insulation in the roof because it's quite expensive to do it. But I'm going to be living here probably till I end. Do you want to go out for a toilet? No, you're all right. He looks frustrated. What do you want? He's not going to tell me, is he? I'm talking to him like he's going to tell me I want to go out. Rolling Coconut. I'm one of those guys. I feel street dogs and cats. I feed the street dogs and cats every day. Well done. I was tempted to do it, but I've seen Thais go out around here and do it. So what made me laugh was I went, a lot of the times you go to the markets like Bangkok and the other markets, and the stray dogs, and they're accepted and they're walking around and they come up to your table and they're looking and they're under your feet and they don't bite or, you know, there's maybe like Bangkok's got maybe half a dozen dogs. It just wanders around. No, they don't bother people. They're just wandering around. But you give them some food and they just look at it, sniff it and walk away. And the reason being is because everybody feeds them and they get so fussy. They only want meat or, you know, you give them a bit of rice and they won't eat it. Dog says soy bintapat is boring compared to soy 80 or 94 in Hua Hin. Depends what you're looking for, really. I'm not a fan of bintapat. It's quite expensive over there. Thank you, Scott. Robert, jealousy and pure idiot. Peter, don't even think about him. He should be so lucky to have such a lovely house. Thank God I do have Facebook. Why people behave like this, Peter? We are similar age. Well, I'll tell you one thing, Robert. The one thing I found in common, every guy who leaves a shitty, get off. Every guy that leaves a nasty, let's say a nasty comment on Facebook, you go and look at their profile and they've locked it. you can't leave a comment on there. So these guys can give it out, but they can't. I'm trying to get him off my feet. Get off. Every guy that leaves a comment that's nasty, you go onto their Facebook page and you can't leave one back on theirs because they lock their Facebook. You know, I'm going to give him a little slap on the nose in a minute. I'll threaten him. I won't do it. You want some of that? Huh? Right. Benny, do you think Black Mountain Golf Course is too far from the town to live? Depends how often you want to come to live. I think it is. Well, again, I say that it's half an hour's drive. See, the thing for me, when I go into town, it's a straight highway. I can do 90 kilometers. I can do more than that, but that's what I do on my scooter. So 160. So I'll do cruise at 90 kilometers. It takes me 20 minutes to get to Hua Hin. Then it'll take me another 10 minutes within Hua Hin, okay? The problem with the Black Mountain Golf Course, it's not highway. It's all kind of side. Right, it's a beautiful area. I've been up there. I looked at the golf club. I don't play golf, but it was just amazing. But for me, yeah, I mean, there's a few estates up there, a few moobans as they call it. But you're only asking my personal opinion. Other people will say differently. I think it's a bit far just because of the roads. Scott, have you been to Vietnam? What's it like? Never been to Vietnam. Plan to go when he's a bit older. I want to go to Da Nang. And I'm into the Vietnam War and the museums and stuff, and apparently it's a nice beach town. Ryan, how are you doing? I was watching a video of your town in lockdown with two guys called Tony and Jim, I think. It looks amazing. Pattaya is okay, but how many bars does one need? Absolutely. I'll tell you what I don't like about Pattaya now. I'm very careful what I say about Pattaya because I won't mention his name, but there's a YouTuber down there. I'd actually said something like, oh, I'm bored with Pattaya now. I prefer it here, but it was good when I was young. And he went on camera and said, oh, so many people are saying bad things about Pattaya and it's a great town. Look at Thailand Ban. He said he hates Pattaya. So I was on a live stream and I said, why is he picking on me? I never said anything of the sort. I never said I hate it. Anyway, somebody must have sent that to him because he actually sent me a really nice email apologizing, saying, look, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean anything by it. So no harm done. But yeah, I mean, the thing with Pattaya, I mean, you grow out of it, don't you? I mean, it's just not. It's a great town. I was trying to cover for myself there because I forgot what I was talking about as I usually do. But I'll tell you what I was going to say. What I like, this is going to sound a bit racist, and I don't mean to be racist. It's just personal choice, okay? What I like about here in Hua Hin, you don't have big gangs of you-know-whos, okay? And those people who, they don't get out of the way. Some of them spit on the floor. They're very loud. Different groups, not just one particular group. People seem a bit more well-behaved down here. And you don't get the drunken louts, you know, like when you're on Walking Street, these guys fighting with ladyboys and, you know, doing acrobats on the back of BART buses and being arrested and, you know, falling asleep outside 7-Eleven and stuff. You don't seem to get any of that here. And that's one thing I really like. Eddie, the hire car analogy is brilliant and will put a lot of guys' minds at ease. Well, it's true, isn't it, though? You hire a car, other people are going to hire it, unless it's crap. Again, I'm in Pattaya right now. Bars and goals, etc., must be struggling, except for the top 5% of ladies. So that's another thing that's changed, which we've talked about before, is the quality of the ladies in the bars, okay? I don't want to be derogatory to the girls who are working there now because they, you know, who wants to work in a bar and go through what they go through. But, you know, back in the day, they're all, you know, mid-20s, early 20s, stunners. You just don't see them now. I mean, I know I said I don't like go-go bars, but occasionally, you know, I get dragged to one. You know, there's bars I walk past here on 94 and Bintabat and stuff, and I see the girls in the bars, and they just don't seem, I think it's not like, you know, 25 years ago where it was full of stunners. You know, they all seem to be 40 plus, and a lot of them are big girls, you know what I mean? They're kind of meaty girls. And I just think the quality's kind of gone out the window. Sounds really male chauvinist, but I'm just trying to get a point across. Perbert, curious, does dollar make financial sense in... I don't understand that, Perbert. What are you trying to say there? Curious, does dollar make financial sense in tusks? And no, I don't know what that means. Sorry. Rewrite it and I'll have a go at it. Holden fan. Hi, Peter. I'm looking at visiting Phuket, Bangkok, Pattaya, maybe Hua Hin next year with a friend next year. Any areas we should stay at in town that you would recommend in those areas? Well, Phuket, I don't know anymore because I went there 25 years ago. I stayed in a hotel called the CNN Hotel, which was near Bangla Road. I don't know why I can remember that because my memory's so bad. I think I can remember it because of the channel CNN. So I can't recommend anywhere in Phuket. Bangkok, I've always stayed around Sukhumvit area. It's a good area between Asok and Soi 3. Don't stay in Soi. Don't stay in Soi 11. It's famous for a lot of those people who walk around that I was talking about. That's quite a good area. And then you said Hua Hin, I would definitely recommend staying somewhere around the Hilton, because you walk in that area. There's a lot of nice little quaint bars and restaurants. Restaurants that go out over the sea. You can eat fishing, fresh fish. They've got the fishing pier, which does a market Thursday, Friday, Saturday. When I say a market, it's all food stalls, and they have a beer garden at the end. That's quite nice as well. So yeah, or Soi 94 is a good location as well. Near Wonderland, bit noisy, but that's because there's a lot of bars there. Pete Bailey, good day, Peter. The car versus go analogy is very true. Most don't want to think about the last 20 plus blokes that have had a test drive. Yeah, and don't forget they might have a little bit of an oil leak right by that time, if you know what I mean. I still don't get it, Herbert. You say does Slay? Oh, okay. Does solar make sense in Thailand, or the costs make it not worth it? All right. Okay. I got it now. So I'm not going to invest in solar because our electricity bill is fairly low. The first month we moved in here, it was 1,400 baht for the month, 1,400 baht. That's because it was not too hot. The last bill I had was 3,000 because it was warming up. I'm using the air conditioner a lot more. I'm expecting 5,000, no more. So 5,000 baht a month is approximately $180 a month in electric, and that's aircon, showers, microwaves, a lot. The cost of a panel, the cost of a solar panel, a full size one. I was in Thai Wazadu the other day. That's a shop that sells solar panels. About 7,000 to 8,000 baht. So you'd need probably 4 of them at least, right? And then you'd need to get them installed. I suppose long term, if you live in here, if you come out here and you retire when you're just over 50 and you buy a house with your girlfriend or your wife and you intend to stay here for 30 years, then it would be, wouldn't it? Because you'd have probably zero electricity bill. But I just don't want to spend any more money here. You know, she's got it on a mortgage. I've spent about £5,000 of my own money now. I just don't want to pour any more money into it. If it all went sour, which I very much doubt it will, but if it did, I can walk away. I can rent an apartment right in town. I've lost $5,000. Okay. I don't like to lose money, like you don't like to lose money, but it's not going to kill me. You know, $5,000 is like, it's a lot of money to lose, but I've had a good time while I've been here losing it, right? And I've had plenty of activity in the other room. You know what I mean? Why am I explaining that to you? This always happens. We were talking about the solar, weren't we? And then I went off on one. Okay, is it loss FHC? Has taxes for expats taken effect? If not, do you think it's going to happen? What would be the best visa for someone looking to avoid getting taxed twice, in your opinion? Thanks, Peter. Enjoy your channel. So this is a elephant in the room, this tax thing, because they made this big announcement about a year ago that they were going to go after foreigners. Everybody has to have a tax ID and you're going to be paying tax. And then it went quiet. And then I've seen, I won't mention names, but I've seen financial advisors who have got YouTube channels saying, look, you know, don't do anything. Nothing's happening. Just leave it. If somebody comes knocking your door one day, then that's the time to do something. So I'm not really the right guy to give you an advice, but I don't think there's any kind of visa that helps you with tax. It's not about the visa you're on. It's about how much time you stay in the country. And I believe it's about, is it 3 months or 6 months? There's a certain amount of time that if you stay in Thailand, like I do, for instance, you will be eligible for tax. That's what they're saying. At the moment, nothing seems to be happening. I'm not saying it will never happen, but it isn't. But it doesn't matter what kind of visa you're on. You know, if you're eligible to pay tax, you will pay. Now, I personally, I won't have to. Who's that? Hang on, let me just put the other camera on. Who's that on my front? Wait. Oh, okay, he's parking. All right, I thought somebody's coming through my gate there. I won't be eligible for tax because I still pay tax in the UK. I don't want to go into my personal affairs too much, but I have an accountant and I submit a tax. What do you call it? I forget what it's called now. I submit a tax. What's the word I'm looking for? I do my taxes every year, okay? And I can get a certificate from, I got one last year just in case. I didn't need to use it, but I can go onto the government gateway site in the UK and they will issue me with a tax certificate, which basically explains I have a registered tax number and I've submitted a tax, oh God, that word, what is it? I can't get it. I can't get it. I mean, loads of people are going to tell me now. I've submitted my tax every year, and you get a tax certificate. And if they come after me for tax in Thailand, you don't pay double taxation. Okay, I can show them a certificate, say, look, I'm a tax resident in the UK, and I've paid my taxes. Here's a certificate, and it's from the government. So, you know, but that hasn't come up as yet. Okay, Mike, I've just completed a 12-day, 2,000-kilometer road trip from Nong Khai to Trat on the coast, stopped at Koh Chang and Pattaya, both quiet but enjoyable. Well done, mate. It's something I should have done years ago. I couldn't do it because I was here working, you know, but and then when I came over later, I was kind of into the bar scene, you know, I was one of them as they were. Ray, hey, Peter, hope you're well. How is the live music scene there? They do have live bands, but I wouldn't say it's a particular great town. It's nothing like Pattaya. They have a live band at Bangkok, very loud. There's certain bars that does have live music. So if you're into live music, you can find it. They've got a Hard Rock Cafe attached to the Hilton. They have a couple of live bands there. They have a live band at the Klansman. I go there. The Klansman's a little bit out of town. But if you like live music, they have it. But it's not, you know, it's not huge, as it were. What are you jumping up at? He's jumping up at the wall, so I guess there's a fly or something. He likes chasing flies. Why don't you settle down like last week? David, hey, Peter, why don't you take the dog to the lake and do a vlog? I think it would be interesting. It would be so difficult because when I take him out on a walk, he's everywhere because he's nervous, right? And what happens if someone comes towards us, he'll go on that side and then he'll go between my legs. And I've got the lead, you know, and holding the camera and there's nowhere really to sit. He'd be wrapping himself around my leg, you know, maybe when he's a bit older. Ryan, I don't mind the 6/10 goals because I turned into a 12/10 myself. Yeah. Scott, what's the best condo or villa house to rent? If you're just coming out here as a single guy and you're on your own, I'd say rent a condo. It's a lot less work. You know, I mean, I'm glad we've got a house. We're a couple, you know, she does the cleaning, most of it. I help her out by putting the washing in the machine and hanging it out. I'll sweep up now and again. You know, Thai women, they're very good at taking care of property and stuff. But, you know, I have to I enjoy it. But, you know, you have to think about cutting the grass every week. You have to think about the maintenance. There's outside walls that need painting and all that sort of thing. If you've got a condo, like I had a condo in Bangkok, they really look after themselves. You know, they're in a block, aren't they? And if you're on your own, probably a condo is the best way to go. Okay, Paul says, hi, Peter, got solar, cost 100,000 baht. Main reason for getting was have EV car. Please, I did get it and will recover install costs in 3 to 4 years. Okay, all right. Well, thanks for telling us that because I was guessing. And there you go, 100,000 baht to get it installed. And he's going to recover his money in 3 to 4 years. What the hell is that in your mouth? Come here. It's like looking after a baby. It's like babysitting. I might have to let him out for a pee. You want to go for a pee? He usually, when he wants a pee, he normally kind of makes this, not yelping, it's kind of like a weird noise. Perbert, you're living the like. I think you mean living the life. I'm definitely jealous, but not the guy that will go at you on Facebook. Okay, thank you. You know, from the outside, it might look like somebody living out here. It might look like it's all, you know, roses. I don't know the correct term. It might look, it's perfect, but it's not. When you live out here, you do get into a routine. You can have boring days. The excitement does wear off. You live in a normal life. Okay, you can get great food out here. The people are, for the most part, are quite nice. The weather's good. It's hot, you know. Your money seems to go a bit further and you have more of a life, but it's not perfect. You know, I get days where I wake up and I think, oh, what am I going to do today? You know, no, that wasn't the word I was looking for, Woolly Bully, but thanks. Tax return. That was the one I was looking for. I've done my tax return. Why couldn't I think of the word return? Come on, you can't chew on the bloody internet wires. I'll be off. Go on, go over there. Oh, bit me. Little bugger. Little friendly bite. A lot of people saying tax return now. Thanks. Greetings from Hua Hing. Yeah, bye, Jan. How you doing? We had lunch in Big C last week. We'll have to have another lunch. I've actually been there since we were there last time. Uncle Willie, the button on the keyboard, bent arrow. Okay, what's that mean? The button on the keyboard. Okay, I got you. LPS, actually, foreigners live in Thailand on permanent basis. Revenue is taxable since 2024. Right. I've opened a can of worms. I'm not even going to reply to that because I've given my opinion on it. That's what I'm thinking. I've told you I've watched a lot of advice from online, decent, not kids who don't know what they're talking about, online financial advisors, people who live here in Thailand. And I've said what I've got to say on it. And I don't really want to talk about tax in Thailand on the stream anymore, to be honest. Mike, nice girls, pretty yummy. Okay. They have diapers for dogs so they don't pee in the house. Funny, but it's worth it. Yeah, no, the thing about the Shiba Inu, they're very, very clean dogs. They call them the cat of the dog breed because he is really clean. He doesn't bark very rarely. If he's chased, the way I exercise him at night, I've got an old mop and I run it around. He chases it. He goes berserk, but he gets frustrated because he can't grab it, and he lets out a little yelp. But they're really clean dogs. He normally goes to the back door. He'll make a funny noise that I know. I'll tell you a funny story, and this is really true. So we've got two toilets. One's attached to the bedroom, and one is right. When I walk out this door here, the door is right there, and that's the one I use in the daytime. And when my girlfriend was at work, I didn't shut the door, so I'd go in there, unzip, have a pee, and he was watching me do this every time. And when he needed a pee, he went up to the door and he put his paws up on the door, and I just thought he was playing. I ignored it, and I didn't do anything. And he had a pee outside the door because he thought that's where he had to go for a pee. So they're very good dogs. They train early. It's very rare he'll do it indoors. It's when we don't notice the signs or don't let him out enough. Definitely getting harder to find stunners in bars nowadays. Holden fan. That's Peter for the tip. I have been watching your videos regarding hotel and food reviews, and they are great. Would you do any more anytime too? I'm planning to. I'm just waiting for her to finish work because the problem is, I like dogs, and I think it's cruel when people leave them in a cage all day. They go out at 9 o'clock in the morning, don't come home till 5:30. I think that's cruel. You shouldn't have a dog if you're going to do that. If you're going to have a dog, he should be free to roam. He should enjoy his time as well. Now, if I have to go out, meet a friend for lunch, I'll put him in the cage. I can't leave him roaming around because he's teething. I'll put him in the cage, but I'm back in 2.5 hours. He's got water in the cage. I've got these special, they're attached to the cage, so they're not on the floor, so we can't tip them over. And he seems to be, he likes his cage. It's like his safe space. But, I'm not going to leave him in a cage for a whole day. I'm going off subject again. I just read your comment again. So, yeah, what I'm doing, I'm waiting for her to finish work so that when she's home, I can go out and do videos. I would like to go down to Soy 94 at night and just film the bars. I've got a nice camera that picks up at night now. It's a DJI 3. They've now got the DJI 4, but it looks very similar. I'm not going to buy it, but that takes very, very good nighttime scenes, and I haven't done that one yet. Lucia Cabrera, you saying, why are the numbers low today? They're always lower on a Saturday afternoon. I tend to have more. For me, how many's in? 166. You put 166 people in a field and talk to them. That's not still a lot of people, but the Sunday night streams seem to get about 250 people in these days. It's just a Saturday afternoon. A lot of people do things Saturday afternoon, don't they? I seem to get a lot of people in Thailand on the Sunday night streams. I get a few people who are actually living in Thailand. Guys who live in rural areas, I guess. Right. Do you qualify for Thai healthcare since you worked in the kingdom? I do use the government hospital, actually, because they're better than people think they are, and they're very, very cheap. When I get my Thai ID on Tuesday, I'm going to have to ask that question, because when you get the Thai ID, I've got the yellow book, and then I get the Thai ID on Tuesday. I'll pay the same rate. This two-tier pricing. Well, I'll pay the same as the Thais pay. I can't buy land or anything like that, but I've been told by the local Ampor office that when I go to different sites, I'll pay this. Actually, I do now, because what happens is, this thing about losing face. So what happens, we went to a few places like SeaWorld in Pattaya, and they have two-tier pricing. And my girlfriend, she's very good, so what she'll do, we'll go up and it'll say 40 baht for Thai and 140 baht for Farang, right? That'll be in English, not in Thai. It will just say the 40 baht. And she'll say to the girl in there, she'll say, but he's got Thai ID. Show me your license. I'll take out my driving license. Now, the person behind looks at it and she knows it's a Thai driving license, but she doesn't want my girlfriend to lose face, because losing face is a big thing in Thailand, isn't it? Right. So they just go, oh, okay, then. And they let me in. But this way I'll be able to legitimately do it. She's very good like that. The internet cable tour. Yeah. But the healthcare thing's an interesting one. I'll have to ask about that. You never know. You got to remember, it doesn't matter what papers you got here, driving licenses, yellow books, Thai IDs, you buy yourself a condo, you've been here 30 years, you're always going to be a foreigner. You're never going to be a Thai, okay? You're always going to be I won't say what I was going to say, but you're never going to be a Thai. You're never going to have the same rights as a Thai person, you know? In some countries, when you've been there for a few years, you get the passport of that country. Like my wife, for instance, she's from South Korea. We got her an English passport about a year after she arrived there. She had to swear her allegiance to the Queen, and it cost about £300. It's a lot more now, but she's got an English passport now. She's entitled to the same as any English person. She can draw a pension. She gets free medical, all that sort of thing. You cannot do that in Thailand. It doesn't matter how long you stay here. You're never going to have the same rights as a Thai person. I'll never be able to buy land, for instance. Not that I want to now. We talked about that a bit earlier, Bottle Baby. It's been confirmed that they are going to roll back to 30 days. It hasn't happened yet, but it is definitely going to happen. They just haven't said when. Return, Robert. Okay, thank you. Jake, hi, Peter. Greetings from Bangkok. It's super hot here now. You think Hua Hin is a bit cooler. Yeah, it is, because what it is, we get a wind here all the time. It's not blowing a gale, but you get a nice breeze. And that's something I've mentioned on Facebook. When you're in Pattaya, some nights you can be walking down the seafront and it's just still, the air, you could slice it with a knife. It's so sticky and hot. My girlfriend and I used to go and eat sometimes we'd go and eat in a Sizzler. They have the salad bar in the big mall near Walking Street, few soys from Walking Street. And we stayed in Soy 2. So it's right around the crest of Pattaya Bay. And what we used to like to do was walk back. It's a nice walk after dinner. But it was just so hot and sticky. There was never any wind along that seafront. But here, there's always, I can see now the leaves on the coconut trees out the window there, they're blowing quite hard. There's always a breeze. So when I'm out especially about 5 when the sun goes down, I can go in the garden. I've got this breeze and it's very, very comfortable. I actually sit out. I don't have a fan or anything. I actually sometimes I sit out in the back there if I'm not going out, and I'll have a chang, and it's very comfortable. Peter, have you been to South America? I've never been to South America. I would have liked to have gone. I've traveled to a lot of places around the world, but a lot of the times I've been restricted on what I can do and where I go because I was working for a company, and they were the ones I was working for the hotel industry for a big chain, and they sent me to wherever they wanted me to go. I would have to go. One of the reasons I retired and I left them is because I was part of the opening team for the Sofitel in Khon Kaen, which is now a Pullman, and then I was promoted to a position called EAM. Executive Assistant Manager, which means you're number 2 in the management stream. That was in an Ibis hotel, 200 bedrooms. But what that means is my next position would have been General Manager of a smaller Ibis, and then maybe a Novotel, and then maybe a Sofitel. So I would have gone all the way. I was stupid, ready to pack it in. But what happened was, thank you, David, very quickly. David, a great live stream. Always learn something new and interesting stories. Thanks for the $10, David. Appreciate it. Quite thin on the ground these days. So what happened was I went up to Khon Kaen, and this was the hotel. I went up there in 1994. I lived in the hotel for 2 years, left there in 1996, and I was promoted to EAM. I was food and beverage manager at the time, assistant food and beverage manager. You go up the ranks over the years, and I was about 30, because I went back home in 2000, back to the UK in the year 2000 because of the kids and the fees. So it must have been, when I went to Indonesia, I must have been about, I was 36 when I left Khon Kaen after opening the Sofitel. So I was 37, 36, 37 when I went. They sent me to a place called Yogyakarta in Indonesia. It isn't Jakarta, it's called Yogyakarta. And if you go online, you'll see there's an Ibis hotel there, and I was part of the opening team for that hotel. I really didn't like it. you know, after being in Thailand for 2 years, I really missed it. And my friend Simon said, look, why don't you just come back here? We'll open a business together. And we did. We opened a IT business, you know, computers. We were doing, this was in the days where Netscape was used. Remember Netscape, how long ago that was? So we were doing simple websites in a program called Netscape for customers. We rented server space with a company called DreamHost. They're in America, very good server company. So we had server space. Then we rented a whole server for ourselves, and we were doing websites for like little travel agents, hotels, things like that. And where the money was, they wanted photographs updated every week or every month, and we charged a fee for that. So the actual cost to make the website was minimal, but we kept updating, and they had to pay a fee for that. And you know, I've been coming back to Thailand ever since, and really looking at it, I do regret it, because what would have happened after that position in Indonesia, what would have happened, providing I didn't screw up, I probably would have had to stay in Indonesia. I think that was a main thing. Once you're in country and you get promoted, they tend to, they have a lot of hotels in that country. I probably would have gone up to general manager, like the #1 in an IBIS. And then after a year or two, they probably would have promoted me up to a note. We had a brand called Mercure. I don't know if they're still around, Mercure Hotel. So that was their 3-star brand. And then I would have gone up to the Novotel. I was actually offered a job in the Novotel Siam Square, but I'd already landed the Sofitel. There was an agent in Hong Kong. I think I've mentioned this before. There was an agent in Hong Kong that in the early days I did work for, and they'd send me, oh, look, we've got a job here, you can go there. And then they rang me up one day and they said, look, there's a job going, a food and beverage job in the Novotel Siam Square. And I was in negotiations with Accor and Sofitel Khon Kaen. And I said to the agent, I said, look, probably people tell you this all the time, but I said, I think I'm going to get an offer from Accor and the Sofitel and Khon Kaen. I said, so if it's going to happen, you need it to happen quick. You need an answer. You need to get back to me. I didn't think anything of it. They flew me from India to Khon Kaen. They paid the ticket and everything. Stayed up there in a Thai hotel. They interviewed me, everything. What package you're expecting? Landed the job. And then I went back to India to finish. It was Bombay at the time. It was the hotel that was attacked by, you know what, can't say the word. I was there a year before that happened. Had I been there when that happened, I wouldn't be here now, because they were looking for white people to shoot. But I was working in that hotel for about, it was only about 6 months. It was kind of filler-in job. And then I got in with the Corps. And then, just trying to remember, so long ago, I'm trying to remember everything now. Yeah, and then the agent called me from Hong Kong. He said, I've got good news for you. Because it had my CV. It was all paper CVs back then. They sent them there was no internet, or it was the early days. So they'd sent a big brown envelope with all my credentials. The management or the owners of the Novotel Siam Square looked through it and okay, this guy will do. I had a good track record, and they offered me the job. And the agent was so angry with me, you know. And I said to him, he said, look, we've worked hard to get you this position and you're turning it down. And I said to him, I said, look, I wasn't telling you BS at the time. What was I supposed to do? Turn down a call and say I might have a job with, you know, I know the Novotel was Accor as well, but I can't remember the reason why Accor at the time wasn't managing it, even though it was a Novotel, or they were just beginning or just finishing. I can't remember. But he went mad, you know, and I tried to explain to him, and I said, you know, what do you expect me to do? Do you expect me to say no to them because I might get a job? This was an offer package, a good package, and he never phoned me again after that, this agent. It was kind of like, you'll never work in this town again, sort of thing, you know. But I was okay after that. I wasn't bothered. Right, this big long story there. Why did I have to tell you all that? The square root. Hi Peter, first time chatter, commenter, ever sub for years now. Great, thank you very much. Wife passed in December. Sorry to hear that. We watch religiously. I haven't been to watch anything Thai related since first/3. I can certainly understand that. I'm really sincerely. It must be a great loss. I can't imagine. I've only been with my girlfriend for 3 years. If she passed away tomorrow, God forbid, I'd be a broken man. I don't know how you got through it, but you know, I feel for you. I'm glad you kind of getting back into it, as it were. What would you recommend to me, single widower to relax head and just live without looking for that special Thai, someone who just wants to remain neutral? I think the important thing when you come to Thailand, whether you're into girls or you just want to relax and have a nice, easy life, you've got to have friends. Okay, we're human beings. We're not designed to be on our own. A lot of people can handle their own company. I can handle my own company, no problem at all. But we're human beings, DNA. We're designed to be. We're kind of pack animals, aren't we? We need to have be together. We need to have friends, even if it's 2 or 3 friends. So I would say more than where to live or what budget you need or what food you're going to see. I would think about what communities you can be part of. Facebook, although we're all saying Facebook's, lots of trolls and stuff on there. One good thing about Facebook is there are lots of groups on there that you can get into. You can join these groups and you can make friends. And I would say there's a lot of nice places you can research on the internet. You don't really need me to tell you that, but I would say definitely you would think about companionship. I don't mean a Thai girlfriend, which it might happen. I never thought I'd have a Thai girlfriend. Look what happened to me. 33 years I was married to a Korean, and I've divorced. I thought, well, that's it for me. I'm going to be a Mongo. That's it. And I was for 2 months in Pattaya. I don't think he wants that. I think what it is, he knows about the time my girlfriend's due to come back, and I think he thinks she's coming back soon because he keeps whimpering at the door. She treats him like a little baby, that's why he loves her. So I hope that kind of helps you make your decision. And one more very quickly there, you got mentally not looking for anything, but just living. Loved to me when wife and I visited. I just want peace, quiet, and same place that might help me. I'll tell you what, you could do worse than Hua Hin. Honestly, I keep harping on about it, but you're on an island, it's an island at the end of the day. Bangkok's hectic. Pattaya is just, it's the Vegas of Thailand, but for something else, isn't it? Do I have to let you out? I would say from what you've described, Hua Hin would be absolutely perfect for you. Just come and have a holiday first. Loss FH, you thought I skipped your comment, didn't you? Are the ladies in Hua Hin mostly from Isan? I don't know. I honestly don't know because I don't talk to them. I don't go out to girly bars anymore. And they probably are, right? Because most of them are, aren't they? But I don't know. Right, Suzanne, you earned your place. Thank you very much, Suzanne. Very kind of you to say. Trey, hello, Peter. My cue is, have you met people with disabilities and have they told you the difficulties they have had living in Thailand? Okay, so I haven't met anybody with disabilities, but I have some experience with this I can tell you about. First of all, a lot of people have motorcycle accidents out here, okay, and they end up in a wheelchair or they're on crutches and stuff. And I would say having a disability out here, the biggest problem I think you would have is they're getting better, but they're not really geared up. The pavements are rough and broken. A lot of the restaurants don't have ramps. A lot of the shopping malls don't have ramps. And if you're in a wheelchair, I'll see people in Bangkok struggling. If you have somebody with you who can assist you, then you'd probably be okay. But, they're saying that, though, there are guys in these electric, I'm trying to not be offensive. What do you call them? They're like the little cars with the electric, and they buzz around. And I see guys in Pattaya with bar girls hanging off the back of them. I've seen guys go down the beach road in one of those electric scooters, the 4-wheel ones that they're sitting, and there's a bar girl. She's standing on the back with her hands on his shoulder because he's taken her back for a short time. It's actually comical to see, Stephen, hi Peter. Can you speak Thai? Would it be better for me to learn some over time? Oh, definitely, yeah. Can I speak Thai? Not fluently, but I'm getting really, really. I surprised myself actually. I used to be one of those guys who could do the numbers. I could order food in Thai, not very much at all. And my girlfriend didn't speak any English when I first met her. She'd worked in a hospital with Thai colleagues. Her Thai is really improved. Her English has improved a lot. But because I've had to speak Thai, I've got an app that helps me now. I've learned a lot, and I surprise myself. I'll go into a local petrol station and I'll tell him fill it up with 95 in Thai, or I'll ask for, if I have some food, I want the little chilies or I want the big chilies. I can say there's a difference on them chilies. The little chilies, it's Prik Nam Bra is the little chilies. Prik Nam Som is the bigger chilies, and you pick it up and you start finding yourself, you call a waitress over, and before you might ask your girlfriend to translate, or you use your translate app and you're talking, you just, you ask for something and she goes off for it and you think, wow, I'm, and it's coming together more and it gets exciting, you want to ask for a toothpick, couldn't be my ching fan cab. Have you got a toothpick? I might not be perfect, but they always understand and bring me a toothpick. So I would say, yes, definitely. If you're coming to Thailand for any length of time, it's so helpful. And the other thing is, shut up. The other thing is, he's whining now. He thinks she's coming back. Or do you need a pee? The other thing is, I'll tell you what, I might put him out the back door, actually. Yeah, let me, because he's unsettled. He's not settled. Let me pick him up. I'll put him out the back door. Or do you want to stay? I don't know what he wants. I don't know if he's whining because he thinks my girlfriend's coming, or he's bored, or he wants to go for a pee. He might. I'll let him out before the street. It's a tile floor. If he pees, I'll clean it up. Okay, I don't want to walk off. So the other thing about the Thai language is if you can say a few words of Thai, the Thais treat you totally different. Totally different. When I moved in here, the neighbours, not all at once, but one or two, like a neighbour would be past, she'd start talking to my girlfriend, and she'd say in Thai, "Oh, can he speak Thai, or does he only speak?" And I'd say, "No, I can speak a bit of Thai," and they'd get all shy, but they treat me totally different, than if you don't speak any Thai. Scott, Peter, our agent, your friends, do you trust them? If you're talking about property agents, no. I mean, I mentioned it before, you have to constantly chase them, Daniel Cooper, is there a big grassroots sports scene in Thailand? Oh yeah, sports is everything's, get off that. He's on, I just caught him chewing the bloody electric cable he was trying to. I might have to put him out. Why isn't he settling down? He normally sleeps. Yeah, and again, if you're into sports, the best place to find those sort of groups is Facebook. Just look for, wherever you're going to live. If you're going to live in Pattaya, you just put sports Facebook groups, sports, whatever, into Facebook. There's loads of them come up. I'll tell you a good one. A good group is called Life in Hua Hin. It's a group, Life in Hua Hin, and they post every day about new restaurants that open up, about people getting together and things like that. They post a lot of stuff. The square root, thank you for your response. I looked into Hua Hin, but I'm more interested in Chatham as it's quieter, and I'm not interested in the tourist or retired areas personally. Okay, well, you can't go anywhere in Thailand without the tourists. There's tourists in Chatham, there's expats who live in Chatham, but I get where you're coming from, and that probably would suit you better than Chatham. Scott, I haven't. Peter, I enjoy sports. Do they have any good sports channels on TV? Yeah. Well, you get these little boxes and you can watch. I watch Netflix, YouTube. I've got free movie apps, that I shouldn't have. But you can sign up to subscriptions here. Especially in Bangkok, they do little boxes. You pay for the box, a couple of $1,000 baht. Then you have a subscription. You pay once a year, 2,000 baht. You can get TV from all around the world. You can get live TV from the UK, from America, Australia, classic movies, all sorts. Why are you whining? I'm going to put him outside because I can't concentrate. Give me 1 minute, guys. Give me 1 minute. Come here. Come here. He'll probably start whining from outside. It's quite off-putting when he's constantly making this little noise, because I don't know, obviously I don't know what he wants, but he's outside now, the gate's locked, the garden's safe, he can't go anywhere. I can see him on the carport there. Gets terrified if he hears voices. He'll have to stay out there. Right, where are we? How long have we been going? Nearly 2 hours. I can say in Thai, boom, boom, okay. No worries, Daniel. See, that's an interesting comment. I read this all the time, and I don't believe so. He said, anyone else under the impression that expats here are less and less wanted? No, I tell you why, I don't think so at all. If they didn't want expats here, it's simple. They just wouldn't issue visas. They'd say, well, we don't do tourist visas. We don't do long-term retirement visas. Or they'd make the conditions for a retirement visa, for instance, so unobtainable that very few people could get it. You need 10 million baht in the bank, or you need to invest, whatever. No, if they didn't want tourists here, it's very easy for them to stop tourists coming here. It's their country, isn't it? What they're trying to do, they're trying to stop these dickheads coming here. These guys who come out here on a 60-day, this is why they're reducing to 30 days. The Thais have already said this, okay? You get these guys come out here for 60 days and they end up living here because they do border runs, they get another 60 days. And a lot of these guys who hang out in Pattaya and, they run out of bars without paying, they have fights with the security. Look at that Swedish guy who kicked that female doctor. He's got deported. You must have heard about that. And the Thais have just had enough. It's tourist fatigue, and they don't want those sort of people in their country. The Thais are very polite to each other. There is another side to Thais that I've seen, that they're human, right? Like we are. They're not perfect, but generally speaking, they're polite to each other, they're polite to us, and they'll go out of their way to help you. They don't want these kind of people here. The sort of people who start shouting and are drunk and get into fights with ladyboys and leave restaurants without paying and hanging off the back of BART buses and shouting and singing, or riding motorcycles around Pattaya at 2 a.m, revving the nuts off them. They don't want those sort of people, okay? So really, in answer to your question, just an opinion, if they didn't want us here, they'd just revoke all visas and they wouldn't have any tourists here. Right, Michael. Hi, Peter. Are there lots of volunteer groups in Hua Hin to get involved with? Can you recommend any? Yeah, again, there are volunteer groups, and especially there are groups who what's the word I'm looking for? Stray dogs. There's a lot of not companies. What would you call them? A lot of volunteer. I can't think of the word I'm looking for. A lot of people, they try to help the stray dogs, and there's volunteers who get involved in that. But again, Facebook is the best place to look for volunteer groups, but they do have all sorts of volunteer groups. Scott, I haven't been to Laos, mate. No, I'd love to go. Okay, Dutch Buddha. Hey, Peter, and chat and mods. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Dutch Buddha. Chris, he was Swiss, not Swedish. Okay. The doctor kicker. Yeah. So if you don't know what that story was, I mean, the guy, he was a lot of money, he must be gutted. He owned a big elephant sanctuary in, where was it? Was it Phuket? And there was a female doctor and her friend walking along the beach in the evening, enjoying it. And he had a house that his garden went right down to the beach, and he had a step there. Now, he didn't own the beach. Of course he didn't. But these two, and even if he did own it, this female doctor and her friend sat on this step at the end of his garden looking at the sea. Weren't doing any harm. I mean, even if he owned it, I would have gone down and said hello to them, And he went down and he was swearing and cursing. You could see on the video, it was like, get off, this is my land. And he ended up pushing her with his foot. Anyway, she launched a complaint. He went on TV apologizing. It was so insincere. I think that made people more angry. And they deported him, basically. He'll never come back to Thailand. And, that's the sort of people they don't want. Right, okay. If you're watching my live now, I can't answer your message. Okay, the square root. I think as long as you respect their culture and try to learn a little of their language to show you're at least trying, all Thais will show love. So, I mean, look, in practical terms, if you're coming out here for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and you go to Pattaya and you want to have a bit of a party, you go out at night, you get drunk, as long, you don't really need to learn Thai in a place like Pattaya, because all the bar girls and the staff, they all speak very good English for the most part, because that's all they're dealing with, foreigners. It's a party town, isn't it? So if you're one of those people and you're coming out to Pattaya for a month, I don't think you need to learn Thai, but you do need to be, just because it's Pattaya, you can't do what you want. People think they can. Like that other guy walked into 7-Eleven and grabbed the backside of some girl who wasn't in the bars. She was just buying milk to take home, and he grabbed her backside. Another idiot, right? But you have got to be respectful. It's not your country. Michael Max, hi Peter. Do expats get frustrated by Thai tradesmen who just don't turn up? Do they prefer Western trade expats? Well, you can't have Western trade expats because it's a protected career. There's certain careers that a lot of them actually that you can't come here and do. So you can't come here and be a plumber or a carpenter or I was going to say candlestick maker. That's a rhyme, isn't it? You can't come here and be that sort of job. You can't be a hairdresser. There's a Russian guy in Phuket got arrested. I don't know if he got deported because he had a hair salon. So that's they're protected. They're protected. I don't know what's wrong with me getting these words out today. Employment, you can't. They're protected for the Thai people. Okay. In the other part of your question, there, do you get frustrated? You do, because we've got a Thai guy who's come around and done the canopy. He's actually done a very good job, but they do stupid things that they don't think about. Like we would not do that. I'll give you an example. So when they were putting the canopy up, where my gate rolls on some smooth concrete, there's a strip for the wheels of the gate, and there's a strip of concrete. It's about 10 inches wide, okay? What's that in centimeters? I don't know. About 10 inches wide, and it's smooth concrete. And the guy wanted to do some welding. So instead of getting a block of wood or something to put down, he put it on the concrete and he welded it. Now I've got 2 big black marks on the concrete that I can never get out. The only way I can do is paint over them with a special outdoor paint. I've tried everything. And there was marks at the back of the house. And when they painted the canopy, you know, the streaks of white, not many, but there's a few streaks of white paint. The front of the house is grey and white, and this white paint streaked down the front of the grey. Now, luckily, I've got the exact paint, because when they built the house, I got all the codes for the paint. So, because I knew I'd have to do touching up, all right? So when he's finished tomorrow, I'll just go around with a paintbrush and just touch it up, and it'll be good as new. But it can be very annoying. And as far as not turning up, yeah, I mean, he was supposed to come yesterday. Last week he called up and said, "Oh, I can't come today because whatever." And then he was supposed to come last night and finish it off, and he called and he said, "Oh, come on Sunday because I'm off on Sunday." So it can be frustrating. Daniel, is there a list of protected careers anywhere? Probably online. I can't give you probably on the Thai, best place to look would probably be the Thai embassy website. But most jobs here are protected unless you're a specialist. You know, say like I worked in the hotel in food and beverage, and they brought me over to work in the hotel. Let's see, that's him yelping. He wants him, but I'm not bringing him in because he was yelping here. You know, you come over, or it's a big investment. Like you're one of these guys who you're part of a huge bar complex, you know, like Hooters or something like that, Hard Rock Cafe, then that's a different story. But to come out here and just get a job, there's not much you can do, really. There's very little. There's nothing I can think of, actually. You've got to be some kind of a specialist where it's very difficult for that person to employ a Thai person. Joel, just been talking about, it's great, mate. How's your new canopy? It's very good. Scott, what's stopping you taking money under the table for work? Well, it's simple. You'll get deported because they're very, very hot on that. People come here and they think, you know, on a retirement visa, and they work. I know people are going to say, well, you do YouTube, so technically you're doing it, but no, I'm not. And I don't want to get into that side of it. I'm just going to answer your question. So people have done it, and a lot of people have been caught, and they'll get deported. I heard of one case. I thought this is an urban legend, and I thought, nah, it's got to be BS. I'm talking about painting your house. I'd heard about a guy who was painting his house, and they deported him, and I thought, nah, he's not getting paid. He's just painting his own house. And I was speaking to one of the owners of one of the big bars, and I told him this story. He says, no, it's true. He says, I know a guy, and he told me the story of there was one guy painting his house. That was one story. But another guy, he was an Italian guy, and by the railway station, he had a small kind of a burger stand or something. I don't know what it was. And he was doing all the cooking. He had an apron, and they came along and they fined him 180,000 baht. And then he did it a second time, and he got fined again, a bigger amount. And the third time, this owner of this bar, which was near him, seen him sat down in his apron. He said, everything all right? And he was like, no, it's happened again. And he ended up selling the food store, whatever it was, you know. So they're very, very hot on it. People, right now, you've only got to look across all the news channels, all the nominee companies, people, like especially the Russians down there in Phuket, what they're doing, because they don't want to go back to Russia at the moment. So what they're doing, they're open a business. They're running the business, but they'll have a Thai person in name who owns that business, and it's called a nominee company. And what the Thais are doing now, immigration, they're working with the CIB as well. They're catching a lot of these people, and they're going through all the paperwork, and they know they're nominee companies. And there was one recently, I don't know what country they were from, I can't remember, but I watched the news report where there was an illegal kindergarten. It was run by a couple of foreigners, and all the children in that kindergarten were foreigners. I don't know if they were Russian or from somewhere else, but she was a foreigner and her assistant was a foreigner, and it was a proper kindergarten set up, but they thought they'd be okay because there were no Thai kids. But of course, what the Thais will do, if you're cutting into their business, for instance, they'll take a photograph or a video of you working, and they'll tell immigration. Immigration are under obligation to investigate it, and they will find out. And if you get caught working here, it is a big deal. You know, you can be deported in the worst case. Okay, so the comments are finished, and the comments are dried up. That's a shame. 1 minute until 2 hours. I would have liked to go on over the 2 hours. I think I'm going to have to, unless I get a comment or two in the next 30 seconds. Somebody once said to me, how can you talk for 2 hours and know what to say? Well, I can't. I read comments and then that opens up conversation. That's why in the members, when I do a members live stream, I've got almost 200 members, but at any one time, I never have more than 40 or 50 members in at one time. Okay. So what I do, I prepare a load of news stories. I do joke of the week, the manga minute, guess the Thai lady, guess the lady. But I have to prepare all Sunday afternoon to do this just for the members stream, because otherwise, with only 40 people, very often the comments just stop and I run out of things to talk about, Right. LPS. The kindergarten people are mostly from that country that makes friends everywhere they go. Okay. Not sure what that means. Makes friends everywhere they go. Okay. All right. Is that the lot? Okay, Eddie, would you say Hua Hin has seen better days? The last time I was there about 9 months ago, it seemed very run down. I think it's better now. I've been coming here for about 6 years. I spent a month at the Narawan Hotel in '94 when I was teaching myself to learn WordPress. And I used to go out. I think it's better now because there's a lot more to do. It used to be quite a sleepy little town. There wasn't that many great bars to go to. I think there's too many bar areas now. They've overdone it, but I think it's good now. There's a lot more happening here. Scott, there are a lot of bike gangs in Thailand. There is a lot of biker gangs in Thailand, but they tend to, they're not going to do anything to you. They like to hang out in their own bars and stuff, don't they? The square root, Peter. Like I said, I haven't watched anything Thailand related in months due to wife passing and it hurting. I'm curious, where are you right now in the world? I'm in Thailand. I'm in Hua Hin, in the West. I'm literally in Thailand now. I live in Thailand. Carlos, hi Peter, hope you're well. We're more or less missed today's live, but have a great weekend. Thank you very much. Holden fan, would you do an updated video regarding what tourists shouldn't do in Thailand? I think it's been done to death, right? I mean, everybody knows now, don't they? I mean, in the 5 years ago, 5.5 years ago, there weren't that many YouTubers based in Thailand. There probably half a dozen, I started my YouTube channel in Thailand, but then COVID kicked in. But I could count Thai YouTubers on one hand. Now, there must be thousands. You go down to Pattaya, everybody and his brother. I was talking to one of the big bar owners, a very successful bar owner, I won't mention who he is, of Soy Bacau a couple of months ago. And he said to me, I said, I'm surprised you watched my channel, actually, because there's so many YouTubers down here. And he says, they're all the bloody same. He says, they all film the same thing. They're walking along Soy Bacau or down Soy 6 or Walking Street. And he says, they've done it to death, or they're secretly filming girls along Beach Road. And he said, it's so boring. There's so many people putting out the same stuff. So in answer to your question, I don't think I'm going to do it again because it's all out there. It's all been done, hasn't it? 10 things you shouldn't do in Thailand, 10 things you should do in Thailand. And to be honest with you, because I've been doing this for so long now, I find making those sort of videos a little bit boring. I prefer videos now where I'm giving out information about insurance or, places, good restaurants to eat at, that sort of thing. And I enjoy the live streams as well. Daniel, did it take you a while to find your place to settle in? Not really. I always knew Hua Hin or Bangkok because I've spent a lot of time in Thailand on and off. I'd say close to 30 years now. And, as I say, I lived in Khon Kaen for a couple of years. I've lived in other locations around Thailand. I lived in Pattaya for a while. I've lived on Sukhumvit. I've lived on 24, 38, 4, all over the place, and I always knew eventually I didn't think I'd ever live here full time because I was married and I had kids. But of course, even after 33 years, our marriage kind of died a death slowly. We're still friends. There's no hate there. But we just went our separate ways. And the natural choice for me was Bangkok. And I met my girlfriend, obviously, and we're now a couple. And I've always fancied living in Hua Hin, but not on my own. And I said to her, she's holding down a full-time job. And I said, look, I'm seriously thinking about going to Hua Hin to live because it's a nice town. The air's clean. It's not chaotic. What do you think? And she said, well, I love you. If you're going to go down there, I'm coming down there. And I'm like, well, what about your job? And she said, what can I do? And I said, well, the only other thing is I stay in Bangkok and I don't really want to stay in Bangkok. So it's worked out well. It's worked out very well. Joel, there are a lot of expat blokes on YouTube. Do you know each other? Yeah, I mean, I don't know all of them. People say, oh, I did a video with this guy. Do you know that guy? Like Johnny, there's something happening. I think he calls himself Asia Johnny now, who's based in Hua Hin, got a massive following, 180,000 followers. I've never met him. There's a couple down here who are based in Hua Hin. They've got quite high, they do a lot of videos. I've never met them. Who's the other guy? A guy called George. He's done a video with Ing, Smile Visa. I did a couple with her as well. I've never met him. The only YouTuber I've met here was a guy, and I forgot his name, something Travels. I was walking along Soy 94 and I was doing some B-roll and I had my little camera. I'm just walking there and I heard this voice say, and now I've got Thailand bound walking past me now. And I looked around, I was like, oh, you're all right, mate. And he was a YouTuber and he was just happened to be filming at the time. And spoiled my video, actually. I had to start again. But yeah, no, who do I know? I've done videos with Buzzin Patia, Trevor, Bangkok Pat, obviously, Dave from Alpha Omega, Ed Sweeney when he was alive. I did some stuff with him. Who else? You know, it's so many years I forgot over time. Have you heard about the Chinese guy caught with? Yeah, I mean, that's scary stuff, that is, because, well, let's not get into it too much. But, you know, if you know what he was intending to do with all that stuff, it's very scary. Trey, is it Trey Shea? Peter, what's your thoughts when Phuket flights to Hua Hin Airport start? Would it be good or bad? And do you think people move to Hua Hin Airport? Well, do you know, I've got mixed thoughts on it. I'm glad I live 8 miles out of town now because I've got the best of both worlds. Because if it suddenly gets flooded with Russians from Phuket here as an alternative destination, then it's going to end up like Phuket, isn't it? Which will be a shame. But they are extending the runway and they're going to start having, at the moment, they only have flights from Chiang Mai, but they're going to be putting on flights from Phuket. So I guess people will come here to visit to see what it's like. And it's a great town. People will like it. So let's see. I can't be selfish. It's not my Hua Hin, is it? It's for everybody. I do get guys who are very serious sometimes. I bump into them and they say, hey, stop talking about Hua Hin. Everybody will want to come down here. And I'm like, I do YouTube. That's what I do. You know, I have to talk about Hua Hin because I live in this, but you're going to spoil it for us all, you know. Oh, that's a long one. That's a long one. What are you saying there? Great live, Peter. Thanks. I've tried myself. It's not easy. Very personable. Nice. Your advice works very well for me. I've been to Thailand many times over the years, but I don't envisage retiring there. I have retired to a small yacht and prefer the ability to move around the world independent of a fixed location or country. Nevertheless, your advice is very helpful. The major are relevant to any country or solutions encountered by retirees. Fortunate. Okay, well, thank you, Peter. I'm glad it helps. What a lot of guys do is they'll live here some time of the year. So like my friend Thomas, he's in the States at the moment. So he's got a great couple of apartments. They're quite small, but he pays like the one in Bangkok. I think he's just gone up to 10,500 baht. He's got one here in central Hua Hin, which is a nice little. So it's basically one room with a glass divider that splits the bedroom, and he's paying 8,500 baht for that. So what he does, he works in America, but he works for himself off a laptop. So he'll base himself in Bangkok. He'll come down here for a few nights. He's got all his stuff here as well. He doesn't have to buy another because he rents. It's so cheap for him to have these two play rather than have one big apartment in Bangkok where he's paying 30,000-40,000 a month. He prefers to have two smaller places and he's paying a total of 18,000 baht and he goes back to America. So a lot of guys do that. They'll keep a place here in I know guys who have bought apartments here in Thailand and they'll spend half of the year here, half of the year back home. In fact, Damon, he's in the UK now. He's not in the stream. That's what he does. He's built a house up in Buriram, lovely property, big space for him and his girlfriend. But he's still got his house in England, and he loves living in England. He's got his Ducati motorbikes and everything, but he likes coming out to Thailand, and he likes the time he spends out here. So. You don't have to base yourself out here all the time, as they say. Glad you're back in Thailand. I wish I was there waiting for my house in South Florida. I can't go there with this house still in my ownership. I have been waiting to get there. Yeah, well, the sooner the better. You'll enjoy it out here. Stuart, so many people going into 7-Eleven, seeing what you can get for 200 baht. Is that videos, is it? Yeah. There's a lot of people doing the same sort of videos. I noticed. That's why I stopped watching. I mean, okay, look, I know I do a lot of the same stuff as well, but I've stopped watching Thai-based YouTubers because a lot of them just bore me now. You know, there's still a few good ones out there. I'm trying to think who do I watch. There's a guy up in East, and I always forget his name. He's a young guy. He's got a little goatee, and he does interviews. But primarily he's married. They live on a farm, and he just goes out on one of those motorbikes that has a sidecar, and he'll go and get. You know, he's different because although his videos aren't over exciting, he's doing different stuff, and there's nothing worse than I'm in soy 6 now, and you know, look at these beautiful girls, and you know, oh, send me to sleep. Right. Peter, whatever happened about the medical green stuff investments in Bangkok with Simon? I think it was. I won't answer it because it's his private business. He's still there. He's still in business, but he's kind of switched over to do something else. I don't want to speak too much because it's his business, right? Peter, is it still a thing for the future? Not sure. If you're talking about what the original... no, I'm not even going to answer because I just don't want to talk about it. Was he Canadian? Who's that? Was he Canadian? I forgot what we were talking about. See, this is a problem. I'll read a comment and then I'll come back to another comment where somebody's asking a question. But because I've read so many comments, I don't know what it's related to. Oh, you're talking about the YouTuber I bumped into. Yeah, I think that's his name. Yeah, I think it is Rocket Travels. Yeah, yeah. Because I'd done a video on Superfish. It's a new fish and chip shop that had opened up here about 6 months ago. And I went along and I was the first YouTuber to actually video their fish and chip shop, a young couple. And what I'd said to James, the owner, I said, look, James, I'm not going to put this out for another week. Do me a favor. If anybody else comes here, can you help me out? Because if somebody comes and makes a video, my video is not going to be fresh anymore because they'll do a video and a week later my video comes out. As I've come here first, could you give me the benefit of letting me put the first video out? And James said, yeah, no problem. And this guy just happened to turn up. James told me, if it's the same guy, and said, I've come here to make a video about the fish and chip shop. And they basically said, well, look, Peter's got a video on hold. You can come after he's done his video. I think it's the same guy. Peter Bailey, one final note, keep the Facebook short grabs going about the little things in life. Keep doing what you do, mate. Catch up one day down the track. You know what I like about Facebook with YouTube, it's a lot of work because when you make a video, you then have to go off and edit it, which takes a lot of time. And then you have to make a thumbnail, and then you have to do the SEO, you know, the title, the description, the hashtags, and then you have to put it all together. Then you have to upload it, and then your video's there, right? With Facebook, you point the camera at the dog or something, say what you want to say, bang, upload it, it's done, you forget about it, it's done. You know, that's why some days I put 5-6 Facebook posts up. It's so easy to do. But I do get a lot of crap on Facebook. One guy wrote to me yesterday. I actually reported him to Facebook. Normally, I don't report people to Facebook. What I do is I just block and delete them, or I'll write a sarcastic reply back to them because I enjoy that. One guy, I've got to be careful how I say this. So one guy left a reply on one of my videos, and he said, you're an old NONCE. Okay, and if you don't know what that means, it's look it up. It's a British slang word. He said, you're a NONCE, right? I think, or another word you could use is a PERVET, who lives in Thailand. You are the most boring CUNT on Facebook, FUCK off. That was it. That was what he left me. And I thought, no, that's out of order. I'm going to report that. So I reported it to Facebook, and I just, they say, what is it, harassment, bullying, and all this sort of thing. Obviously, I've blocked and deleted him now, but I don't know him from Adam to come on with such a nasty comment. You know, I've left comments and said, you know, I say, you know, I don't know. I've left comments that haven't been nice, but not for nothing. I've remarked on things. But this, you know, this guy, in one comment, he's called me an NONCE. He's called me a boring CUNT. He's told me to FUCK off, you know, one comment. The dog's in panic mode now. He's running around the garden. He's safe. So this question keeps coming up, right? You say, how much should you allow per month to embark to rent a studio apartment, a 1-bedroom apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment? you haven't told me the location because it differs so much. If it's Bangkok, central Bangkok, in a tourist area, it's going to be that price. If it's Pattaya Junction, it's going to be that price. And if it's Hua Hin, it's going to be that price. There isn't a one size fits all. You know, I've got to know what your location is. Mike, well, for instance, Sukhumvit, around Nana area, that one of those side streets over there, one bedroom apartment, I paid 20,000, which was really cheap for 51 square meters. You're looking at 25 to 30,000 for a one bedroom apartment around Asok, you know, Ceylon, even. You go out into a Thai neighborhood, maybe 15,000, but you won't like it because nobody speaks. You can't get any Farang food. Nobody speaks English, and you'll find yourself constantly taking the BTS into town, and then that becomes a monthly bill, then, doesn't it? So your cheap apartment's no longer cheap. Michael, hi Peter, great advice. If you had an accident in Hua Hin, do they have a 999 emergency system? If you did not have any medical insurance, would they not take you to the hospital? No, they have a duty of life. They can't just let you die. I have got the ambulance number here. Right, it's something like, I have got the information here. Let me just tell you a little bit about it, just put you straight on this, okay? So they have an ambulance service and government hospitals, which are very good, okay? So the number here is something like 1116 or 611. I know there's like 3 ones in it, okay? So just say I had a heart attack right now. My girlfriend could call this 1116 and they would take me to the nearest hospital, okay? But some of the hospitals, like for instance, San Paulo, which is a private hospital, on some cases, they'll send the ambulance straight to the government hospital because my girlfriend works there, right? So she tells me they don't always have the equipment to deal with some emergencies, whereas a Bangkok hospital, which is very expensive, but it's very, very good. So what would happen is my girlfriend would say, I am registered at the government hospital. So she'd call the ambulance would come here. There's no, we did ask them, there's no fee for the ambulance. It's not a private hospital, you'd be charged. But to be picked up in the ambulance, taken to the government hospital, there's no fee for that. But just say I had a heart attack and they fixed me up and put a stent in, there is a fee, but it'd be so much cheaper than a private hospital. But people think because it's a private hospital, the care is less. It's not. It's first rate. This is Thailand, right? The only thing you might not like about a Thai hospital, the way I try to explain it, the difference between private and government is when you see a doctor in a government hospital, they speak English. When you do blood work, it's the same. I got my report in English from the government hospital. Price-wise, Bangkok hospital, I paid 12,000 baht for blood and a fasting report. You know, so they took blood, urine, and I got the full report from the lab. That was 12,000 baht. San Paulo, I think they're doing it for 5,500. Government hospital, same thing. I paid 1,600. The only thing you might not like about a government hospital, it doesn't look pretty inside like the private ones do. So when you go into a private hospital, you know, a lovely, pretty nurse will come along and smile and why, and she'll take you to the next department and she'll sit in while you're talking to the doctor. There's none of that. When you're in a government hospital, you have to find your own way around. The general staff don't really speak any English at the desk and stuff. You can get by, you know, use translation app. But for instance, here in Hua Hin, they have a special clinic I think it's on the 5th floor of the second building, and you pay a fee of 400 baht, and then you don't really queue up. You phone them up in the day and say, look, I want to see a doctor about I've got an ache in my shoulder. And they'll say, right, well, he's in on a Tuesday. Can you wait till Tuesday? Yep, no problem. Come at 7 o'clock. You pay the 400 baht and you'll go in 10 minutes and see a specialist doctor. Failing that, you go in the daytime, there might be 100 people in the queue before you. But the treatment, I'm on prescription drugs and medicine. And I've mentioned before, you can get up to a 4-month supply from the government hospital. So a 4-month supply of the medicine I'm on, if I got it in just a pharmacy, it would cost me 6,000 baht for 4-month supply. From a hospital, probably even more. A government hospital got exactly the same medicine, just different brand names, but same ingredients, everything, same medicine, statins and a blood to bring down the blood pressure a little bit. 450 baht for the 4-month supply. That's the difference. I don't understand who Holly is, Jason. Sorry. Do they have a breakdown service for car or motorbike like New Zealand? We have AA service for breakdown vehicles. We have the AA in the UK. It's a little bit different here. I don't know about all the brands, but I have an MG3, a car, right? So what MG have, they have because there's MG sales and services. I've got one here in Hawaii, all over the country. So what happens? We have a number for MG, a central kind of office. I think it's in Bangkok. And what happens if you break down? I mean, it helps if you've got somebody who speaks Thai. But if you, I don't know, they might have an option for English. I don't know. I've never rung them, but I'll give you another tip about driving in Thailand. So just say we drove halfway to Bangkok and the car conked out, we can call this number, and what they'll do, they'll look up which is the nearest MG dealership where we've broken down, and they'll send a pickup truck out to us. They'll pick the car up. They'll take us back to the garage. They'll repair the car if they can. And all we'll do, we'll pay the bill for the repair and the pickup. That's how it works here. So there's no monthly fees, as it were. Not that I know of. There might be some breakdown service I haven't heard of, but that's what I do with MG. But a tip I will give you, if you're going to get a car out here, especially a second-hand one, you know, the new cars, the newer cars, they don't put spare wheels in the car anymore. You know, they give you a pump and some foam. So should you get a flat tire, in theory, you put this cap on the tire and you can pump some foam in it. And they do work. I've used them. I keep one in the motorbike. But the problem is if your tire bursts or you get a pop and it won't hold foam, you've had it. Now, this happened to me. I was a mile from my house and my tire just decided to shred. I don't know why. And I basically drove it on a flat very slowly for 1 mile, and I managed to get it in my garage. I couldn't get a service to come out here to take the wheel. So what I had to do, I had to go on to Lazada, which is like Amazon. I ordered a wheel brace, like a lug, you know, for undoing the nuts, and a jack. I took the wheel off, put it in a black bag. My girlfriend had it on the back of the scooter between me and her. We took it down to Be Quick. We got a new tire on it. I come back and I put the wheel on the car myself. But the advice I was going to give you, if you don't have a spare wheel, buy one. Because if you lift the back carpet on your car, you'll see there isn't a space to put a spare wheel. There's for the foam pack, the spare. But if you take the actual foam out, you'll see that the steel frame still has the wheel recess. And that's what we've done. We've taken the foam out of the car and I put the wheel in there. So I've now got a spare wheel, a jack and a wheel brace. And another tip I'll give you, if you decide to do that, go second hand. There's a shop here in Hua Hin. I got a second hand wheel and a tire second hand, but with good tread on it, 1,500 baht. So now if I drive to the coast or I go up to Bangkok, or, you know, I'm an hour away from home and my tire bursts, at least I know I've got a spare that I can put on and I can get back to a garage here in Hua Hin. God forbid, you know, you're driving at 10 o'clock at night on the highway halfway to Bangkok and you get a flat tire and you can't repair it. And what do? You know, and you don't speak Thai, a nightmare. Okay, tourist police, ambulance 1554. See, I don't know, maybe it's different than here in Hua Hin because that doesn't look familiar. The number here has definitely got a 6 in it, 100%. What year is your MG? It's about 5 years old now. I bought it secondhand from my friend Simon. He bought it for a sales girl that didn't work out, and I went around his house one time, a little MG3, only a little car, and I says, whose is that? And he said, oh, I bought it for my sales girl, but now she's left. And I said, well, what do you want for it? And he's like, well, I only want what I paid for it, 250,000 baht. And I looked at it, very, very clean, 40,000 kilometers, which is about 28,000 miles. I said, well, I'll have it if I can pay it in stages. I don't want to pay 250. He's like, yeah, I just want to get rid of it. And it's been great. You know, I've been driving it. My girls came over from the UK. We drove from Bangkok to Hua Hin and out to some elephant sanctuaries. I've been up to Lopburi to see the girlfriend's family several times. Pattaya probably 20 times. Hua Hin probably half a dozen times. It's up to about 60,000 kilometers now, but it's great. It's never let me down. The only thing that's happened, unfortunately, was, like I say, the flat tire. I'll have to get on soon. Look, I've been gone for 2 hours and 23 minutes. Mind you, she's not coming home till late, but I do have some things to do. I'm going to water the grass for a start. Right. How to pronounce that? Schlin, is it? In Hua Hin, how much would you pay to rent per month to rent a studio apartment, 1-bedroom apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment? It does vary depending on the location, but generally, if you said across the board, a nice 1-bedroom apartment, you'd probably be looking at about 18,000 for a nice one. 2-bedroom, probably about 30,000. If you're going to rent a 2-bedroom apartment, you're better off renting a villa with because they have a lot of houses down here that you can rent, 2 and 3-bedroom houses. Some of them have got swimming pools. You know, Bangkok, they can't do that. You've got to rent an apartment because it's Bangkok. But down here, they have a lot of land, so you can actually rent a 2-bedroom house. Probably there's a guy in my street rents a house like my house. He's a Russian guy, funny enough. There's only one other Farang in the street, and that's him. And he pays 12,000 baht a month in rent for his 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. But that's because he's 8 miles out of the city. You rent inside the city, you're going to pay 30,000 baht a month. And your next question is, how would you find one, I guess? So again, Facebook, look for agents. But as I said last week, don't expect them to chase you because they won't. Does Amazon not exist there then, or is the one you mentioned the main e-commerce choice? Yeah, the main two here are Shopee and Lazada. I'm just signed up to Lazada. They're pretty good. You know, if something comes, you're not happy with it, they give you an option to refund, and they'll come and collect it, or the seller. And I've refunded several things that were not quite what I thought. But just be careful, because there is a lot of counterfeit stuff out here in Asia, not just. I think, you know, the shopping site like Shopee and Lazada, they do try and filter those people out if they get a lot of complaints. I generally haven't had a problem. I've bought a lot of things off Lazada. And the good thing about Lazada as well and Shopee, you can get a lot of foreign food on there. You know, your Heinz soups and your, I don't know, your Bovril and your Hershey's chocolate or whatever you want to buy, and your HP sauce. You can get all that. You can get it here anyway. But if you live in the sticks a little bit and you don't have the opportunity to buy HP sauce, brown sauce, it's an English sauce, or an English mustard, or an American, I don't know, A1 sauce, you go on Lazada and they'll deliver it anywhere, but you pay for the delivery. I think from Bangkok, I think I pay 38 baht delivery most times for a package. It's about 80 pence, $1. He's really letting loose now. He's really panicking because he can't see me. He's very timid, Binto, and he's got it with me and my girlfriend. He feels very comfortable, but he's on his own. He's in the yard. There's no one there. He's all locked in, so he's safe. But he's going in panic mode now because he's looking around. And I'll have to go and I'll probably end it in 5 minutes, and I'll go out and bring his heart rate down. But I'm trying to get him used to it, you know, because he should be able to stay in the garden on his own. Oh, he's having a dump now. Very nice. Right. Sounds like you enjoy living in Thailand, Peter. Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Peter. Live stream brilliant from New Zealand. Cheers. Kiwi Chris, you're right. Ambulance is 1669. Okay. So I knew there was a 6 in it, and I knew I thought there was a few ones in it. So 1669. Yeah. Okay. Right, guys, I'm going to end it there. I'm going to have to end it. I don't even have any out on the Saturday streams. I don't have any outgoing music. I'm just going to end the stream. Okay, how long we going? Nearly 2.5 hours. So next Sunday, I'll be on at the usual time, 8 p.m. I hope you can join me. 8 p.m. That's a week tomorrow. Tomorrow I can take it easy. No, I've got nothing to do on YouTube. She's off, and yeah, we're going to have a nice, peaceful day today. Whatever you're doing, have a great weekend, and hopefully I'll see you in the stream next Sunday. Thanks for watching, and the guys who did the super chats, thanks for that. It's very kind of you. Okay, have a great weekend.